Ladies and Habibis, we are going to introduction to you rising star of South Asia. He is very well educated. He knows Islam and Christianity very well. He done what they said he can't. He is Doctor.
Alhamdulillah.
Wait a minute, what are you doing, Zakir? You come out, it's not you. Habibi, take him out. Sorry, there was some problem. He's Adam Sikher.
Hello everyone. This is your favorite Murtid. Salamul Masih. Peace of Christ be with each and every one of you. I hope you guys are having fun. And hello. Your favorite Murtid is live once again, and I hope you had a nice time. Today the topic is a bit sensitive. It's about us. It's about the people who are Murtid. It's about the people who left Islam and now they are called Murtad. Apostasy. Apostasy. Apostasy from Islam. It's a very it's a concept where you might not see it as a problem in many other fractions in the world. You will not find this as a problem in Christianity. You will not find this as a problem in Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, and so on and so forth. I don't know, there are so many, I can't even count. So why is this a problem in Islam? That's a very strange concept at this time of the world, right? Why? Because if you actually keep these mindset in your mind even today at this time of the world, I think we have a bigger problem. I don't care if you say that you will not do it. You won't do it? Okay, don't do it. But someone else will. Why? That's the bigger problem. Why is there a punishment that you proclaim even now? Why is this a huge problem that you even proclaim right now? That's where the major problem lies, not the other way around. A lot of people say, it happens in Pakistan, not anywhere else. No, it happens in 32 different countries of the world. There are laws in different part of the countries which dictates what can happen if a person openly leaves the Islamic faith. Like literally, there are laws in 32 different Islamic countries. Some have even death penalty, some have prison, some have uh, other type of criminal cases against them. So it is not something new, and it is not something that you can't even think, oh, we don't do this nowadays. Where is this coming from? This is coming from Sharia Islamia, the hadith of Muhammad, the Shara, and even there are links inside the Quran which points to that particular aspect, that whoever changes his Islamic religion, kill him. You know, Russia is supposedly one of the very, you know, open-minded country. Let's just put it this way: dictatorship is happening over there and all that kind of stuff. But yet, according to a survey, 42% of the Muslims in Russia want Sharia. So 42%, that was a research done by Pew Research between 2008 and 2012. And we are talking about Russia, not Pakistan, not Australia. We are talking about Russia. Check this out. This is a research data which is under Pew Research, okay, done by Pew Research between 2008 and 2012. Thousands of Muslim countries and Muslims around it. This is the citation where it is taken. Believes about Sharia, Pew Research, 30 April 2023, and you can get it, right? And now this is the data that you need to see and understand. Russia, 42% of Russian Muslim supports Sharia. They want Sharia in Russia. 15% of Muslims wants death for apostasy. And we are talking about Russia. We are not talking about India. We are not talking about Pakistan. We are not talking about Afghanistan. We are talking about Russia. How much of a predominant this this idea is to not let a Murtid live his life. Tajikistan, 22% of the people wants death penalty for a Murtad. 27% of the Muslims want Sharia. Like if we come back to Pakistan, that's where things goes different. 84% of the Muslims want Sharia, and 76% of the Muslim wants to kill a Murtad. Anyone who leaves Islam, kill him. Now, do you understand what is happening here? This is Pakistan. Let's see India. Let's see India. They haven't even given India. Man, what happened to India? They didn't even do this in India. That's so bad. Anyhow, Thailand 77-27. Man, Malaysia 62% wants to kill us. Jordan 82% wants to kill us. Egypt 86% wants to kill us. Palestine, there is nothing called Palestine. I don't know where they are looking for Palestine. But 66% wants to kill us. Iraq 42% wants to kill us and 91% wants Sharia. Lebanon 29% wants Sharia and 46. So imagine this is so predominant in this part of the world about killing an ex-Muslim as a capital punishment. It is not something that you would say, it's a very hidden thing. No. I just first wanted you to understand and comprehend that this is not a hidden thing. It is not something which people will say, nah, it's not there. It is there. It's there and it is proclaimed by many. Just like, you know, Ali Davi, the girlfriend of Mimi Hijab, he said, capital punishment, you weaklings who leaves their religion and becomes a murtad, you weaklings, capital punishment will be applied to you and we will be watching. You remember his words? Let me search Ali Davi for you on that. This is how easy it is to show to the world that these people wants to behead all the, you know, murtads. Who are the murtads? We are the murtads. We who left Islam are the murtads. We are the murtads. My, there you go. Let me show you. Let's see from the mouth of the donkey itself. Let's play Mr. Ali Davi.
This is a part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah, there's a reason why there's a capital punishment, because people like you, little weaklings who leave their religion and cause corruption in the land by spreading it, the capital punishment is.
So corruption in the land is spreading the belief system of ex-Muslim. Just remember that. Why I'm emphasizing on corruption in the land is because he is actually right now associating capital punishment to a verse of the Quran, which most of the Western Muslims do not accept that this verse is referring to ex-Muslim. He is actually referring to Quran chapter number 5, verse number 33. So the scholars know what 533 is for. All the tafsir writers know what 533 is for. The Western Muslims who knows a little bit of the Islam knows what chapter number 5 verse number 33 is for. And the Muslims tell me no, 533 is not for the ex-Muslim or Murtads. But anyhow, doesn't matter. What should happen to them?
Islamic law would be applied to you. We have no doubt, and we're proud of that. Yeah, not individuals going and doing it there.
And the capital punishment will be applied to you, and we are proud of that. Now imagine this guy is a Westerner. This guy is in the UK. He's saying these things even on Speaker's Corner. It's not something that happened out of the blue. It happened multiple times, and even in Speaker's Corner while talking to a Muslim, a non-Muslim, apostate. Let me show you another video because this is also very, I think. There you go. Let me show you. This is also very important. And this is very recent. This ex-Muslim was talking to him and he said, we're proud of that. Check it out.
That popcorn and be watching me get killed. Are you agreeing with Mr. Ali Dawa, the so-called apologist, who Muslims look up to?
If he says
Muslims look up to.
it's correct.
He said I should be killed and he'll be eating popcorn. Sweet and sour.
He said, I will be killed and he will be eating popcorn while him being killed. He should be killed. The ex-Muslim will be killed and he will be watching by eating popcorn. La 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 la. This is the beauty of this particular theology. That's the beauty of it. And this is how you want to tell me that it's a religion of peace. When if you leave this religion of peace, you'll be killed, and the Muslims will be eating popcorn while watching an ex-Muslim being killed by the government or the law or the Sharia or whatever you may like to call it, right? That's the beauty of it. And you know, I don't know how many hadiths do I have to show you, how many videos do I have to show you. The basic requirement of any law, Sharia basically means law. You need to understand that. Sharia means law. When Muslims actually comes up and say they want Sharia law, they don't even know what they're saying. Sharia is Islamic law. You are living in a law land. When you say Sharia law, you're saying we need Islamic law. You don't need Islamic law. You only need Islamic law. So you can either say you want Islamic law or you need Sharia. There is nothing called Sharia law. That's another stupidity. But when we look at it from a very, you know, high level, 500 feet above the ground level, it kind of makes sense sometimes in the past, 1400 years ago, when Muhammad needed people to fight for him. When Muhammad needed people to fight for him, it kind of makes sense that they would want that. They would want these kind of things so that, they could have manpower. They could have people to fight and die for you. Why is it still so prevalent in today's part of the world when, you know, world has changed and the world has adapted to the more different and higher values? Why do you think that we still need this kind of a cultish behavior at this part of the world? Why do these Muslims in different part of the world still wants Sharia as a law where they live, when this is what the law is all about? I know today's stream is a little different than the type of streams that I usually do, and it's kind of very different in an aspect. But you need to comprehend this is a very important subject as itself. I did a debate 3 years ago with so-called speaker's corner guy called Yaya. He is a debater from Speaker's Corner, and he jumped into my live stream. I did not knew him much at that particular time, and I gave him a lot of respect. I didn't know he was a cunning guy. Later on, I realized he's a very cunning, foul-mouthed person. Later on, but his first interaction with me was very reasonable most of the time, and obviously they have to lie anyways. Check this out. What he says. This is the problem with me.
Okay.
Whoever changes his religion, kill him. 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 Whoever changes his religion, kill him.
Okay.
Whoever changes his religion, kill him. Like I'm showing you multiple narrations, and this one is Ali has hurt the people. And then the problem is, let me finish. Let me finish answering because that's a question that you asked.
Okay.
My own family wants to kill me. My extended family wants to kill me.
Please don't accept Islam. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says kill, destruction, and murder. Please don't accept Islam. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says you have to beat your wife up. What? Beat your wife up. What? Please don't accept Islam. Please don't accept Islam.
When somebody willingly and openly rejects the faith, there should be a community of a scholar which sit with him and give him a time and talk to him why he's rejecting. This is according, but there is a lot of ignorance regarding
finish that. Forget ignorance. Finish that.
Regarding how to apply Sharia law on people.
Forget that. No, finish the law. Finish the law. My friend, finish the law. You did not finish it. So they have to sit with you for X many days, depending on Hanafi, Shafi, Hanbali, Maliki, whichever basic sect of Islam you are from. They have to sit with you either for 3 days or 3 months or 3 weeks or X amount of time, which is not mentioned in one of them, but it's an X amount of time. And after that, if the person says, no, I'm not going to accept Islam, what is the punishment?
I guess I'm
no, not guess. Now you have to be trustworthy. You have been trustworthy till now.
I guess
State the full one.
I reckon in this country, after they give you
I'm so sorry, my voice was not available. It was on mute. I'm so sorry. Let me say it again. What I was saying is that he did not finish the law. I had to force him to finish the law, and then again he was telling us that the capital punishment will be applied by the state and the government instead of humans, but he's not even telling us that it is capital punishment. I have to probe it into him. Hey, say the law first. What is the punishment? And that's where the problem is with these people. They lie, they deceive.
I
Now,
guess
state the full one,
I,
not
I
guess.
reckon I reckon in this country after they give you time and this you might be sent to death. And
Not might
this
be,
is
not might be, not might
this
be,
most likely.
not
The
most
most
likely,
likely.
not
Yeah,
most
most
likely.
likely.
My friend, hold on now.
First he said might, then he said most likely. How stupid they are. When it comes, they know what it is and they want it.
Hold on
Okay,
now.
okay,
Now
okay.
you now. So after 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, or whatever, you will be put to death if you do not accept Islam.
Please don't accept Islam. Please don't accept Islam. Hey, Islam says kill, destruction, and murder. Please don't accept Islam. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says you have to beat your wife up. What? Beat your wife up. What? Please don't accept Islam. Please don't accept Islam.
Now you are telling me that you want to give 3 sheikhs to me, and they want to 3 sheikhs, 4 sheikhs, 5 sheikhs, 1 sheikh, whatever, doesn't matter, X number of sheikhs to me,
Okay.
and they are going to tell me, put me in a solitary confinement, and then they are going to try to teach me, hey, come back to Islam, and then there is a time bound hit on me that in these X many days, whatever sect you actually believe in these X many days, if you do not accept, you will be put to death. So what is the difference? You are still going to kill me. So that is why you can't see my face. That is why you cannot see where I am. That is why the problem. So whether the sheikh does it, or the country puts me to death, or my family puts me to death, it is all according to the sunnah of Muhammad. It is all according to the sunnah of the Muhammad. It does not matter. Whoever changes his religion, kill him. After X many days, doesn't matter. Like, it does not matter. Would you like to convince me to accept Islam and then give me 3 days?
Please don't accept Islam. Please don't accept Islam. Hey, Islam says kill, destruction, and murder. Please don't accept Islam. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says you have to beat your wife up. What? Beat your wife up. What? Please don't accept Islam. Please don't accept Islam. The only thing that you need to be concerned about is the persecution that you're going to suffer. I myself.
All right. So let's finish the drama over here as such. So this is the reality in total. And I've shown you very little right now. Like, I've tried to be showing very little. I think one of our guests that I invited is here. She is also an ex-Muslimah. I met her recently and I invited her to my show. And because today's show is specifically a show about Murtid, apostate. So let me bring her up. Welcome, Sister Yasmeen. How are you? Yasmeen? Okay, her internet went down. Let me
Can you
bring her back up again. Yes,
hear?
Sister Yasmeen.
Okay, hello. Sorry about that.
Hi there.
My
No worries.
it's my first time with StreamYard, so
That happens. No worries. If you are from phone and you minimize StreamYard, your voice will stop to come over here. So make sure that when you're speaking, your StreamYard should be your main window in your phone.
okay. Yeah. I have it actually on my iPad here on my main screen right now, so it's all good.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
iPad is good. You can
Yeah.
just like make it small and do other stuff if you want to.
Yep.
All right. So
Yeah.
sister, welcome. You are an
Hi.
ex-Muslimah. The show is about Murtad. They want all the Sharia wants to kill us. The Islamic law wants to kill us, and she is dropped. It happens. The person who is here for the very first time about it, yeah, it happens sometimes. That's all good. Let's see who's Luke. Yes, Luke the Skywalker. What's up?
Hello. Hi.
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm a friend of Yasmin. I was invited here.
Sorry,
Okay.
I will stop disconnecting myself. I apologize.
Yeah,
Hello.
seems like it. So Yasmin, you invited Luke.
I did. Is that okay?
All right. Yes, fair enough. Like, I didn't know who that is, so I have to hide because a lot of times I have a private part jihad on my stream. So
Mhm.
first I have to hide the people, talk to them, and see if I want to show them on screen or not. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
the
Yeah.
reason.
Got
Yeah.
it. Yep. Yep. No,
They,
Luke's a great Christian, and he helps me a lot. Just kind of, as much as I'm a Christian right now, and I know that you're probably going to ask me some questions, and we'll get into that. But I will say that as a previous Muslim, Luke has been a good friend at helping me kind of undo some of the things in my head that were done by Islam. And so I'm just kind of wanting to reframe the way that I think about some things, because we can know the Bible, but I was raised with a different book for 18 years. And so it's not enough to know that something's wrong. It means more coming from Luke when I can understand not only that it's wrong, but why it's wrong. And Luke's really good at showing me why things in the Quran are wrong with the Bible, which adds more to a spiritual understanding for me. So I can understand how my parents accidentally raised me with Islam because they thought that it was right. But Luke does something different where he shows me how they should have used the Bible to understand why it was wrong. And he's great with references. And so yeah, so I wanted to invite Luke. I thought he would be great today.
awesome. So I have to go back. Welcome, Luke, as well, and I have to go all the way back first.
Hmm.
If you are comfortable in telling Yasmeen, like, are you from some like a Western family or some Middle Eastern family? If you're comfortable
Yes.
answering this question.
Yes. Yep, I am. I'm Palestinian. Both of my parents are Palestinian.
Palestinian. Is there a Palestine in the face of the earth? I'm sorry to ask this question.
Okay, so it's hard. This question's so hard for me to answer because I feel like there's no right way for me to answer it without offending someone. But unfortunately, it's kind of funny when you're like born and raised a Muslim who is strictly told that she's Palestinian forever in her life, and all the other people that she's ever known have always been Palestinian. I don't know how to answer this question anymore, if I'm being completely honest with you, because being Palestinian is more, and I know that people are going to deny it, but I'm going to be honest with you. They have made Palestine more than just a state. They shouldn't have done this, but they wrapped up Palestine and Islam in one, and they're trying to justify the aggressiveness of response with Islam, and that's not okay. And you can say, "Oh, well, that's just what they believe in," but at some point, believing in something that causes destruction is not okay. And so, I can understand the sentiment of wanting people who are native to a land to stay relatively native to a land, but I don't understand causing destruction in the name of a god, because in the name of their god, and their god has so little contextual, physical, historical evidence. And so
So,
therefore the Palestinian people have become more than just Palestinian people. They're, this is not like, if I said you're Ukrainian people, we think Ukrainian people. If I say Americans, we think Americans. If I say, just about anything else, like, it'll be that. But it's not faith. We don't say American Christian people, we don't say that. It should be about that, but they have made the mistake of feeling entitled to not make it just about a state. They have made it about a faith plus the state and justified the destruction with the faith. So, to answer your question, I don't know what you want me to say because
so you
that is
answered. You
that is
answered.
what I am.
Luke, can you please mute yourself? There's a lot of distortion coming from your side.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, mute yourself while until you are going to speak. All right. So Yasmin, you answered my question with a long statement,
I hope that's
and
okay. All right.
yet you didn't answer the question. Is there a country named Palestine in the face of the earth?
Yes, there is.
There is. Can you
There is
show it
right
to me?
now. No,
Can you
oh,
show it
you're
to me?
asking me on a map. Oh, if you want me to be honest and tell you, like, is it on? No, it's not on the map. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's really
Okay.
historically
So if
it
it is
hasn't survived.
okay, all right. So it's not on the map. Perfect.
Yeah.
Who is the president or prime minister of the country Palestine?
Oh, my friend, I've been gone for 15 years. I don't know.
Oh, so there is a country which is not on the face of the earth, and it has no president, it has no prime minister, yet it is a country.
You know, my friend, it's so hard for me to even answer this question because the Palestinian people don't even claim me because of my faith. So I don't consider myself Palestinian. I
No,
can't.
that's separate. That is separate,
No,
whether
no,
they
and I
accept
know,
you or
but
not.
here's,
But
but
like,
you're asking me to answer you with like, if you want me to answer you with like the history is yes, you're right, you're correct. There is no Palestinian country. There is not. I'm not ignorant. I'm not stupid. I don't care if my parents are from there. I don't care who gets upset with me for saying it. I don't care.
so your parents actually are from Israel, okay? And even the
She's
Quran,
gone. I'm sorry, she disconnected again.
yeah, that's fine. All right, I think we have a Muslim here. Oh, Yasmeen is back.
My parents are
Hey, Yasmeen, yeah,
sorry.
you're back.
You were saying my
I
parents.
think your camera is turned on, so would you like to turn off your camera?
Oh, sure.
I just hid you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So let me bring you back up. All right. So basically, what I was saying is you are from Israel.
Yes, I heard what you said. Yeah. Yep. That's yep.
So you are from Israel.
Yes.
You are from a land probably either Gaza or the West Bank. I don't know
Yes.
which one. You don't have to tell me anything like that.
Okay.
But you are either from Gaza or from West Bank,
Hmm.
and none of them are Palestine because there is no official government. There is no official land called Palestine.
Hmm.
The unofficially, for the very first time, this land was called Palestine, was by Romans when they had a huge Rome country with a lot of land occupied, and they wanted to tease the Jews that your oppressor, your killers are back in, and they unofficially named it Palestine. And then in the 16th century, when the Muslims occupied it, and then they had a huge country, and the country cannot have another country inside it, so hence they unofficially named this land Palestine to tease the Jews again that this is a country. In 1947, when the Second World War happened, finished, and the British occupiers left this land, they divided this land into two parts and said one part is Palestine, one part is Israel. 53% is Palestinian land, 47% is Israel. At that particular time, the people of the land living in the land which was named Palestine did not accepted it as a country, so boundary was never established, and hence it was still not Palestine as a country. So there's a lot of, I've done like a 4 hours long discussion on this one, but
Yeah.
as an ex-Muslim, we should use the true words now rather than the words associated with us in the
So,
time of Jahiliyyah.
may I,
We were, when we were Muslim, we were in Jahiliyyah. I would say that. So,
may I ask you something?
yes, please.
So, can I confess something to you
Yes, please.
why I didn't say Israel? So, and it's funny because like I know that Israelis, when they hear Palestine, they get insulted, and I can fully understand why. And it's well within their right to be insulted. But here's actually the real reason why I didn't say Israel. I didn't say Israel because I feel like I come from people that have long hated Israeli people. And although I don't hate them and I actually love them, I almost feel, I think, like a responsibility bearing like of embarrassment of what happened. And I'm almost scared of, if I say Israel, the immediate thought is going to be she's Jewish, so they're going to ask me questions, or they're going to be like, oh, you're Israeli, like, where are you from, how long have you been there? And then I'm not actually familiar with anything in Israel, being from the part of Palestine that I was from. And it's like Israel, I've been into Israel before, and I find it beautiful, and I think it's beautiful, but I'm not, it wasn't where I grew up or anything. I wasn't allowed to visit. So I think it's really hard for me to actually say with like confidence that I'm from Israel. because I almost feel like I don't have the right to do that because of what I come from, and I'm ashamed of it. Like, I think
No,
that really that comes
let me
from
let me
their.
fix that. Sorry, let me fix that. You shouldn't be ashamed of where you were born, because obviously where you are born or in whatever you are born is not upon you to decide. So that is something that you should never be ashamed of. Number one. Number two, if we go all the way to Genesis 12, Genesis 26, Genesis 28, Deuteronomy chapter number 2, verse number 23, Jeremiah chapter number 47, verse number 4, Amos 9, 7, Ezekiel 25, 16, 26, 17, we will see in the Old Testament why Jews hate the word Palestine, because Palestinian people always attack them. They were coming from the land of Greek in an island called Crete, and they would settle on the Gaza Strip, and they would attack Jerusalem and all parts. They will raid them, take their money and and the harvest, go back to Gaza Strip, and then get on the boat and move these things back to Crete. The final battle was done by David when he fought with Goliath, you know that, and which was a Palestinian giant. That's what it calls. He was a tall guy,
Mhm.
Palestinian. That was the final battle won by David, and he removed all these attackers from that land. And then the kingdom of Solomon comes up. It's all in the Bible. It's historically Old Testament. It's there. So that's why Jews are always, because this word is a pinching word. Like, there was no Muslim associated with Palestine. The word Palestine, Palestini, is in the Old Testament as an attackers, as an oppressors. What Muslims did is they took a Hebrew word from the Old Testament and attached it to this land, because that word is associated with the evil for the Jews.
Mhm.
They intentionally did that. There is no word called Palestine in Quran. Palestine, the word Palestine is not used in Quran, not even one time. The word Israel or Bani Israel is used 47 times in Quran. So a Muslim, if he thinks Moses is a Muslim, then this land should be called Israel, whether it is under Islamic regime or in under a Jewish regime. It doesn't matter. According to Quran, the name of this land should be Israel, never Palestine. And according to Quran itself, in chapter number 2, verse number 246, all the way to 251, it talks about David fighting with Goliath and the battle of Samuel, which is in First Samuel chapter number 4 all the way to chapter number 17, and Judges chapter number 7. It is already in there, the references of King Samuel fighting with them and all of these things, the prophet Samuel, sorry, and it's there with different names. So the whole idea is that the word Palestine is associated with attackers on this land for
Mhm.
over 400 years, or even more sometimes, mostly 400 years at the end, but it goes all the way back to Abraham's era, and so on and so forth. So it is attackers which attacked them for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And now, when the kingdom actually in 15th century, Muslims occupied this land, they actually named it back to Palestine. In 1947, the Muslims named it back to Palestine. Now, this is the problem. They took this name. Why this name? They could have used any name in the world.
Yeah.
Their Quran doesn't have this name.
Yeah.
So it is only for the hatred of the Jews that they took this name.
Yeah. You know, I was at a it was at a pretty young age that I already understood the whole name thing, because I was, we'll get into the conversion later, but I converted at 17, but it was at 14 that I said, I don't think I've ever heard of anywhere in the world that is arguing about the name of a location. And you would it's not that surprising to think that it was made up and that it was forced, because where else in the world are people fighting about the name of a land? So this has never happened to this extent in history ever. This doesn't happen when something is the truth. This happens when people are fighting because of a lie. So I fully agree with you. So yeah, the answer is that I think I just held a lot of like shame because of, you're right, the name Palestinian or Philistine or whatever, it holds a lot of just demonic past, unfortunately. And because of that, it almost feels like I don't know. I think it's maybe just like a personal burden that I deal with to feel like
Don't
I
do that.
don't I yeah, I know.
Fix your mind. Fix your mind. Fix your
Yeah.
mind. Fix your mind. There is a Muslim in the live chat said, "Well, Adam, if those were attackers were Palestinians, which country they belong to?" I already told you the island is called Crete, which is a part of Greece, and Palestini in the Hebrew, which is Philistine. It's a very different way of pronouncing it because the Hebrew word, when we translate it, it's Palestine or Palestine. The word means invaders. The word simply means invaders in Hebrew. Invaders, attackers. So when you ask me which country do they belong to Greece. Which land they belong to, the land is Crete, from where they will come on boats. And the word Palestine only means in Hebrews invaders, the one who invade your land. That's why it's a very, 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 very derogatory word for Jews, because hey, the invaders are here, they took your land again. That's what it means in reality. But anyhow, let's move forward. I'm sorry I had to go into this word, Yasmin.
No,
I'm
that's
very
okay.
passionate about this word, and I'm very passionate about
Hey, listen,
Israel and Palestine kind of a
I
thing.
think that you have a valid opinion, and there are a lot of, like I said, I brought Luke on because Luke is somebody that is literally helping me fix. I came on here saying I'm fixing my mind, and this is just what happened. You're told one specific thing your entire life, and then it feels engraved in you. And now I'm looking more for a community that's going to not only show me the truth, but like help me live it out as well.
Do you mind?
Hey,
Sorry, I don't mean to butt in. But to add
yes.
on to what you said, Yasmin, about you don't know why the Muslims when you show them love. I think the reason why is probably because of what Muhammad said, especially about the Jews, especially in like Surah 98 verse 6, where it says, "Indeed, those who disbelieve from the people of the book and the polytheists will be in the fire of hell to stay there forever. They're the
Yeah.
worst of all beings." So I mean,
Yeah.
it's very much telling you right there, and now they're taking that and applying it to modern day teachings from a crazy Arab man. Yeah, but also like
All right.
especially Surah 5, also 5 and 82. If I could add that one little thing, just to put the icing on the cake there. uh,
Oh, thanks,
which
Luke.
uh, which says, "You shall surely find the most bitter towards the Jews to be the Jews and polytheists, and the most gracious to be those who call themselves Christians. That is because they are priests and monks among them, and because they are not arrogant." I think that's what I want to add on.
Thanks, Luke.
No worries.
And Yeshua is not Isa, Puru. And Hansada, all right, thank you so very much for correcting me. And Piru, Yeshua has nothing to do with Isa. And our brother Luke added just Akbar. I would say add Al Azim with it as well. Akbar means big or bigger. Um, then it will say Min Allah. Yeshua Akbar Min Allah. He's bigger than Allah. Or Akbarul Azim to be precise. But anyhow, long story short, let's go back. So Miss Yasmin, what next? So you come from there. So probably you know Arabic, but like
She
the back of your hand.
disconnected again.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
That's all right. What do I add
Well,
to my name again? I don't know how to.
with Akbar add Al Azim as well, because Akbar means bigger. Bigger than who? Or then add
Yeah.
Akbar min Allah, bigger than Allah, or Akbar Al Azim, he is
How
bigger.
do you type
And
that? I don't know. I'm
A
not
Z
really
E E
Arabic.
M
AZE.
EEM. After Akbar add Azim. Akbar Al Azim. All
Okay.
right. Yasmin, welcome back. You got dropped. And so, you know Arabic like a back of your hand, probably, correct?
It depends on the Arabic, but yes, go ahead.
All right. So now you have been reading Quran in Arabic, and have you read the Quran in
No,
Arabic and all?
no, no, no. I haven't read the Quran in Arabic. It has always been recited to me if I was put into classes. I tried learning how to read growing up. I just never stuck with it, but my parents spoke it in the house and it was recited to me and I learned how to recite based off of that.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I learned how to I had a hard time learning how to read the Quran for some reason. I just wasn't patient enough. So my parents would just sit with me and read to me and then I'd have to recite back to them until I memorized.
Oh my goodness. All right, fair enough.
Ugh.
So now, with that being said, uh, what caused you leave Islam to begin with? What happened?
Um, just a lot of big questions, I think. And so I think I mentioned this probably prior, but there was it's not a surprise, I think, to anyone. I think I'm just like not ashamed to say it anymore, and I have to stop being ashamed to say certain things out loud. So, you know, as a at the time as a Muslim woman living in such a strict community with crazy cultural expectations of a woman, and you know, not being able to associate with Americans outside of school, and I was pretty much only in school half the time. The other half of the time I was homeschooled because my parents didn't want me to get too Americanized or too liberal. There was really such a big veil over my eyes. They did everything possible to prevent me from associating with people who we lived amongst in America. And they did such a good job at doing that because a lot of the cousins and aunts and uncles, they formed a community all around us. So in America, it was all Muslims we associated with 24/7. Um, and then it kind of, you know, dawned on me that all of us were not talking to our friends that we did meet in school. We weren't trying to make like conversation with them or have genuine relationships with them because we knew our parents weren't going to let us see them outside of school. So there would be no point. And, you know, we didn't have cell phones. We weren't allowed to do any of that stuff. We always had to be with our mom or our dad or our siblings. There just wasn't a lot of free coming and going. So just very structured. My 3, 4, 5, 6, several thousand cousins that lived amongst the community. And along with my, you know, my siblings that I grew up with. Um, surprisingly did not find it strange because you keep everyone so close with other Muslims, they don't think it's hard for anyone to see anything wrong. You just say, oh, we're just religious, you know, we just love God so much, this is what makes us different than the American people. And or I don't know, the Jewish people, right? Because that's what we were taught. So
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 let me rephrase it in a very shorter statement.
sure.
You lived most of your life to begin with in US, but among your own Muslim gathering only, and you were not having any exposure to non-Muslims, even living in United States.
I went to American school.
Oh, you went to American school, but then
Yes.
you did not even have exposure to those friends because you had thousands of cousins.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting,
And so,
interesting.
yeah, see, it was a very controlling, and specifically because those cousins predominantly were women. So we were all like, yeah, and so like you put us around each other enough, we're not going to step out of line, not at all, because we're going to all tell on each other all the time. And that's the thing. We weren't even like a community. It was like we were all out to get each other. We were all competing with each other all the time. That's just how it was. Um, anyways, so I think that I know that that sounds like it has nothing to do with what you asked me, but it does, because my answer to you is going to be because of that veil, that cultural veil that they put on us. I got curious and I decided to advance one of my friendships beyond the realm of just school. And
Oh, so usually it doesn't happen if you put a bird in a cage.
yeah,
The bird never wants to fly out
yeah.
because he's getting everything inside the cage. It's really hard. But then
So
again, there are certain rebellious birds. They would like they'll be like, okay, I want to see the rest of the world. So yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
awesome.
also feel like this was one of God's angels though too, because it was actually a girl, not a boy. I don't know if anyone thought this was going to be a love story. It's not a love story. It's just it was a friend. And so I was, you know, a young girl and I had a friend in school and I liked talking to her. What I didn't actually decide to advance as quickly as I'm making it seem when I tell you this, what triggered the advancement to the friendship was one day I showed up to school and I had a cut through my face from my mom. And it was a gash, like not just like a superficial cut. She gashed me with the back of her hand and she had a ring on. And I had to say my brother did it because that's what I was told to say. But my friend wasn't dumb, and I had shown up with marks on my body and face before, and I knew not to say anything because my parents always told us that Americans don't get disciplined as much, and that's why their parents let them wear whatever they want, and that's why they're not well behaved, and that's why their IQ is probably not as high. These are things that were said to keep us away from them. And so when I would show up to the school with all these marks on me, the gash, I guess, was her last straw. That was that was a 14-year-old her and 14-year-old me sitting in class and her going, "You're getting abused at home. And if you don't let me help you, or to realize that, then I'm going to tell my mom." She didn't threaten to tell her mom if I didn't tell the police. She threatened to tell her mom if I just didn't let her help me see that my family was abusing me. And I said, "What?" And she goes, "I just want to show you. She's like, every time you talk to me in school, you cut it short. I can't get to know you. And I want to get to know you, but you act weird every time we get deep into conversation." And I said, "Yeah, you're right." And so it gave me the opportunity. I saw a window for advancement. I decided to take it. And so,
Very interesting.
yep. And
Very
so
interesting. So
it took one angel. That's all it took.
before you go to the angel, I really want to listen to that, but I want to say something over here as a general purpose. Disciplining your kids, according to me, is okay, but that disciplining has to have some limits. What our sister over here is describing is not disciplining, it is an abuse. So whoever the parents who thinks that abusing is okay, it is not okay. I'll go for disciplining measures. Yes, it is obviously required sometimes for the kids. Maybe a small slap as well, which is definitely not allowed in America at this point of time, if I'm not mistaken. They
Mhm.
don't, they take everything as abuse. But what do you call it? Spanking is always okay certain times as an extreme measure. But once again, and it happens. But what you are describing, having lashes on your body,
Mhm.
having clear cut lashes on your face and stuff like that, that is not called disciplining. That
Yeah.
is an abuse, and whoever thinks otherwise has a big issue in their mind for sure.
Yeah.
Now, please tell me about the engine. You said a very important word. All
Yeah.
it takes is
It's me.
one angel.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful word.
Yeah. And she was that. She was that angel. And I'm still friends with her till this day. And we met when we were 14 and I'm almost 30. So she was a Christian and she had told me about her faith. And she told me she actually first asked me about mine, and I told her. And she said she knew somebody else who was Muslim and asked me if I knew that the stories, like the origin stories, like of original sin. She asked me if I knew that there were deviations in the story. And I at 14, honestly, I wasn't well read with the origin stories of the Bible. And my parents didn't really prohibit us. They didn't say anything. They didn't say we couldn't, and they didn't say we could. And so I decided, but I was a really good kid when I was 14. I never stepped out of line. So I told my friend I wanted to ask my parents because I wanted to respect them and I didn't want to get hurt. And like I was trying to do everything possible to like not have my parents attack me all the time. So I really didn't want to do anything wrong. And so I actually just asked my parents and I approached it by saying, "Hey, I have a question about Prophet Muhammad." And they said, "Okay, what's the question?" I said, "Prophet Muhammad confirms previous words of God. Why haven't you let us read that?" And so my parents said, so you just want to read the older word of Allah? And I knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to make sure that I thought that the previous word was from Allah in the Quran. Like they thought that they wanted me to know, they wanted me to think that Allah had made all of those books in previous words so I wouldn't find contradictions. And unfortunately for them, that angel already told me how to ask my parents. I know that it was deceiving the way that I asked them, and I know that I could have told them, I know you want me to say yes, only because of this, but instead I just said, sure. I didn't say yes. I said, sure. And then asked them if I could read it as a previous work of Allah, quotation marks over the word Allah. And they said it was fine. It didn't become a problem until I brought up testing a prophet, because it's described in Jeremiah, which this is what my angel friend had pointed out to me. And she had discussed with her other Muslim friend. And my parents were upset and said that it was those standards to test a prophet are so stupid compared to how Muhammad got his word from God.
No, really?
Yeah.
Okay. By squeezing him 3 times. Okay, fair enough. So this is very interesting. Okay.
I said, what do you mean? They said, do you know how much more serious and powerful God gave a message to Muhammad compared to the prophets that previously came? And I said, wait a minute. Wait, why are you talking like Allah is two gods? I'm like, I thought you said Allah wrote. I tricked my parents, right? Because they didn't know that I knew. And so, so I was like, wait, I thought you said Allah wrote all the books. I played dumb. And so my parents were like, yes, but you're asking questions that don't make sense. And I'm like, no, you said that he wrote this book, and I'm just kind of confused, because if Muhammad wasn't prophesied and he didn't have any miracles and he had a dream that nobody else witnessed, I'm really confused, because it sounds like he failed the test. And I'm just wondering, how do you rectify that? I'm having an issue with my faith, and I'm asking you to help me. And
Wow, this is a different way of approaching it. The difference is that most of the Muslims nowadays say that older scriptures are corrupted, whereas your parents did not say the older scriptures are corrupted yet. So yeah, that's a very different way of approaching it. Please continue for the people.
yes.
This is very interesting.
Yes. And so the problem was that had I told my parents, when they agreed to let me read parts of the Bible, that I knew that the Quran doesn't consider it in whole, they wouldn't have let me read it. But instead, because they thought I didn't know, because I'm not well cultured in with American people, they thought, and I didn't have like a lot of like computer screen time. We weren't allowed to have phones. Like, we were really cut off, you know?
Are you
And
talking
so
about 1980s or what?
I know, right? It was like a level of control that honestly my cousins didn't even have. I will say that. I mean, some of my cousins did, some didn't. So I feel like it depended on the household. But my parents were definitely that way. That's how they felt, like I guess they kept it. And so again, they didn't even know that I knew that the Quran doesn't take all of the word for what it is. They thought it would be easier to just give it to her under the assumption that it's one God. But in doing that, they backed themselves up in a corner, and then I asked a question they couldn't ask, and then I made them upset. And so then by doing that, it was revealed in the conversation. I said, is it possible that the Quran doesn't actually claim that the previous works are actually works of God? And then my parents were like, no, it does, because that's how we know it's God. And I'm like, but God says to know it's him, we have to use this test. And Muhammad didn't use the test. I'm just, do you see what I'm saying? Like circular
Yeah,
argument.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
I was like, that doesn't make any sense, guys. Like, and so I will say I got slapped in the face that night. really hard.
Oh,
And
uh-oh.
and my dad spit on me and told me that I need to go and pray. And we me and my dad didn't talk for a while after that. You can't spit on me and think that that had actually never happened to me in my whole 14 years of living at that point. I'd never had someone spit on me before. That was gross.
But like
Um,
that's all related to like now you are challenging Allah and Muhammad in itself. So, challenging Allah and Muhammad is you just can't challenge it. Full stop. So
right,
now
but I
that's
was 14. They were still teaching me.
no, but like at the end of the day, you can't challenge them, no? So you
Yeah.
have to be disciplined in a very hard manner so that you won't ask question because Quran chapter 5 verse number 101 says, do not ask question
Yeah.
or you will be misguided. Ask questions when the book is being revealed, like which is Quran that is in currently is in revealing stage, but not after because then you will lead astray. So it's a very strange concept. So yeah, that's a good one. Like in Pakistan, it is very predominantly taught that there is a red line when you are asking questions, and you have to ask questions in a very nice manner. Now you are probing into questions.
Hmm.
You should have been beaten for sure. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry that I'm even saying that, but that's how it is.
Yeah, no, no, you're not wrong. According to how they were raised and what they were supposed to do, they disciplined me correctly. And honestly, I took the discipline with pride. I was very upset about it, but I was like, okay, whatever. It was just the spitting that was weird, that weirded me out. But anyways, yeah, so after that, it was I got in line again, did not ask any more questions. They took the
See, the
Bible.
purpose is fulfilled. You
Yeah.
got in line again, right?
Yes, yes. So they took the Bible. I told my friend what happened. I was very honest with her. I didn't hold anything back. I had fully trusted her at this point, and she got me another copy. We kept the copy at school. I kept it there whenever I wanted to read it. She had a cell phone. She let me use it whenever I wanted to. If I had to like Google stuff, I would definitely be spending my time in the library now, taking advantage of whatever questions I had during those library hours, which wasn't a lot when you're 14. It's like an hour and a half a day, because you have classes all day. So it was
Wow.
really hard. I had never even spent time in the computer lab before this. Like I had access to it, but because I wasn't allowed on social media and I can't use that stuff outside of school, you don't see a purpose to even try. But
Mhm.
because now I had a reason to use it for other than social media, I spent all of my time trying to find what I could. And then eventually my parents did open up to us, watching more TV only after my like what like they only opened up to it after we all had gotten to ages where we could get married. So we were allowed to watch more TV, and that it's funny, like looking back at it now, I it's kind of disgusting, but I can see why my parents did that. They wanted to keep us as innocent as possible until it was time to slam us with what is our duty as women when we enter marriages, which was like, here is what a woman is actually supposed to look like. I want you to like, you can see on TV, like you can take all of these bad examples of women because this is probably how your husband's gonna treat you anyways, and you're just going to have to listen to him. And so it was monitored TV, monitored computer. Like there wasn't anything that I was watching or seeing that was outrageous, and I was too scared to even use it in that way anyways because I was getting beat. So yeah, I spent every waking hour at school that I could. I brought the Bible home sometimes. One night, by the time I was like 16 and a half, I was engaged to a um, I'm not going to say his age. Don't want to put too much personal business out there because I don't want to, reveal too much about myself. But I was 16 and a half. The guy was almost 30. I was engaged to him. I almost considered
How
marrying
did
him.
this happen?
In America, you just have to have both your parents sign and you sign.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
signed.
Yeah,
Wow.
I did sign. And I signed because why? I was getting my butt beat every day. I just wanted to read. I just wanted to have a normal life. And I saw my older siblings get married, and I saw that's what happened. You get married, if you can get married to someone who's not that crazy of a Muslim, you can probably have a normal life. And so I was like, oh look,
So what
guys.
makes you think that he is not as crazy a Muslim as
Oh, well, so
the
he came
parents
and
are?
asked. Yeah, he came and asked for my hand. My parents were very open to me sitting with men in front of them and having one conversation with them before deciding to go through with it.
Ah, okay.
And
So one conversation. You're gonna buy a cake to eat. Perfect. Makes sense.
yeah, yes. And so I sat with this man long enough to know he was soft spoken and pretty much I could walk over him easily. And so he didn't really have too much of a backbone, if I'm being honest with you. And I thought to myself, that's what I want. That's what I'm attracted at the time. That's what I was attracted to. That is not what I'm attracted to now. Why? Because I was in the house with aggression. I didn't want to be in a house with aggression. That wasn't attractive. And so I said it was fine. And the closer that I got to the marriage, the more that I was growing in my faith, which at the time I didn't even realize I was more of a Christian than I was a Muslim, because I'd actually hadn't like surrendered myself to Jesus at that point. I was still a Muslim. I was just learning. It just seemed like my heart slowly was changing the more that I was learning. And by the time I was halfway through this engagement, I told my parents I didn't want to marry him anymore and they needed to break it off. On paper, we were already married. The wedding hadn't happened yet, and the paper did not get sent off. And so legally, nobody knew we were married except for that piece of paper, which my parents had. So I, ran off with some things for hostage, some material things for hostage that I knew that they would want back, and told them that if they didn't rip up the marriage paper, I wouldn't come back. And
Oh,
I
you
would
have
keep it.
to go. You have to go these lengths. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And they said that they would, and I said that cutting up the paper wasn't enough, and I made them burn it on video and send it to me. And then I came home and I got the butt beating of a lifetime, and it was so worth it. So worth it. And look, dude, we
So
gotta laugh
you
at it
have been
now.
beaten and it's so worth it. Perfect. That sounds good.
We gotta laugh at it now. It's okay. You gotta do what you gotta do. And so it was so worth it though. I wasn't married to a 30-year-old. So, anyway, so they broke off the marriage. It came back. So after my butt beating, my dad tried a new psychological approach. He got real smart. He sat me down real nicely and said, tell me what's wrong. Tell me, what is it? Why did you do that? Why did you run off? Mind you, he's trying this attempt 2 days after he beat me to a pulp. Okay. And so I'm just looking at him like, I want to get married so I can leave here, but I just realized that a marriage is not something that I should do, because I would be spitting in God's face, because a covenant is beautiful and I shouldn't be entering one because I want to get away from you. You should know I was about to do that to get away from you. And if that's what your faith has made you, you should really take a good look at yourself in the mirror, because your daughter is disgusted with you.
These are big words.
I was disgusted. I was 16 and a half and disgusted. I was also a woman. When you're a woman, and when you're a girl in that culture, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing laundry. I was a full woman.
Mm-hmm.
This is not foreign. You are a full woman at 16. You are immature as a 16 and a half year old, but culturally you are mature. You are a
You're
woman.
mature at around 13, usually in the
Yeah.
household of a Muslim. A girl starts to do everything when she's 13.
Yep.
And that's pretty common.
Yep. So yeah, I was using these big words because I was a woman. And then my
So these are
dad,
pretty big words when you talk about this.
oh yeah. Yeah. My dad actually he didn't hit me. He didn't hit me in response to that. He told me that this was his fault, and he thinks that my mom put her hands on me too much growing up. And I looked at him like he was crazy, because I was like, you have controlled this household, including my mother. What do you mean? She has if she put her hands on me, it's because you drove her nuts. You don't get to blame the woman who's not being controlled in the situation. Don't get me wrong. I didn't really like my mom all that much growing up. We weren't close, and I didn't have conversations with her. But because I was growing in my faith as a Christian behind their back, I had enough to discern to not hate my mom. I had enough to discern to hate the person who was making her act that way. Until this day, my mom has never said one negative thing to me since I've left.
Hmm.
She's never sent me a message that was negative. She's never sent me she's never tried to mail me anything negative. You know what he did? He sent me a letter telling me that he sent me a letter with my passport and my social security card and everything that had any kind of identification on it. And he put it in a large envelope and sent it to, I should have mentioned, I graduated high school at 14, and by 16, I was a licensed hairstylist. My parents didn't let me actually do anything with that license until I was like 16 and a half. So at this point in time, I also had a job. So when I did leave, and I'll get to that eventually, he stuffed all of my identification in a bag, and with a letter, it said, if I ever see you again, and I told your brothers if they ever see you again, and all of our male cousins and uncles, if they ever see you again, to spit in your face.
Alhamdulillah.
Don't contact us. Don't talk
Our
to us.
religion
Yeah.
of peace, Alhamdulillah. That's like, obviously he's in America, so he's saying spit on you. If he wasn't in America, then he'll like kill you. So
Yeah.
he used the words which is more appropriate for American to accept, and he
Yeah.
won't go into jail when you show this letter to any police, or if you ever
Mhm.
show this letter to police. Because like if he would have said the real word, which is kill you, and uh, probably, and by the way, if you were in Pakistan or India or Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and probably in the so-called area which is associated according to you as Palestine, you should be killed by default by now. But spitting is very, very, yeah, it's a very small punishment, I would say. Please
Yeah.
don't
So
mind that. That's negligible. Okay,
yeah.
I would say
So
that's negligible. you, you should at least have this. Okay, as you
I
just left Islam, this is the bare minimum you should have. At least it's a bare minimum. You should
oh my
have
gosh.
this.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm with your father on this.
okay.
Like this is
Okay.
bare minimum. Come on.
Okay. All right, معلش. That's okay. We'll take it. All right. So listen, the reason for telling you, I jumped the gun and told you what he did when I left. But the reason why I said it was because I told you my mother has never sent me anything bad. I only told you what my dad did to compare their reactions side by side. So that day when I was talking to my dad, and he said he tried to blame my mother for how often she was putting her hands on me throughout the day. I did look at him like he was crazy because I did blame him. And do you think I was wrong for blaming him and not her? No, because look what happened when I left. Look at their reactions. She didn't do one thing. He did. He did all of the negatives. The best thing my mom could have done was stayed quiet and stayed distant from me to protect herself from him. And if she truly hated me or wanted to do something negative to me, or if she probably sees now that my dad did control her in a way that made her act out against, she had a lot of kids, man, a lot, I will tell you that. And she didn't want all of them. She really didn't. She said it all the time. She was very honest. It didn't mean that she didn't love us. I mean, she didn't really show a lot of love. She didn't really know what it was, honestly, but I don't think any one of them does, because they're just not raised with a lot of it. You don't know how to show something you're not raised with. So I don't know. I just feel like she wasn't to blame that much. I think you're still to blame for your sins, and she should have at some point said, I don't know why I'm acting this way. Something is wrong. My soul is not at peace. I am praying 5 times a day. At some point, she almost put on the hijab, so she felt so close to her faith. So I do blame her, and I do blame him, but I blame him more, and I don't think that she's the only person to blame. So I did look at him like he was crazy that day. I behaved after that day when I came home, and he tried having this heart-to-heart with me 2 days later, and I left when I was 17. I was at work, and they wanted me to come to a wedding, the 500th wedding for the summer, because Muslims get married like freaking pumpkin patches pop up during Halloween. And I didn't want to go to any more weddings because they were trying to pounce me around for the men to call upon me, because I didn't want the first man. So now they're trying to get another one. And I didn't make it. I was working. I was doing somebody's wedding. and I couldn't make it. And so I got off work late that day. The wedding started at 7. I wasn't, I didn't make a dress fitting that I was supposed to go to. I had 6 messages on my phone cussing me out in Arabic, calling me a sharmuta, telling me, I'm like, um, like, what the heck? Like, what do you even mean? I am a virgin. Like, I was a virgin. Like, I never kissed a boy.
That, like, coming from your dad, it's
Yes.
like, come on, that's disgusting. Like,
Oh my
okay,
God.
this message coming from your dad is
Yeah.
disgusting. I have to say that now.
Yeah. And so for any English speakers on here, sharmuta means whore. So just so you know. Anyways, so yeah, I was, I'm like listening to these messages and I'm sitting in the car, and then finally I was praying and I looked up, I will never forget this. I'll never forget it. I looked up, I sat in my car, the car my father had paid for, that belongs to him. I looked at my keys and I sat there. Okay. I had just finished working 9 hours that day. And I put my phone down and I went, God, I've been getting to know you for a long time now. At this point in time, I am not 100% about the God that I've learned, but I am 100% the God I grew up with is a load of shit. And so I'm done. And I'm going to ask that you give me strength and you give me courage and you don't let me go back. I don't care how hard it is. Don't let me go back. I had a few savings in my account, not much. I had not been working that much. They weren't letting me work that much. So I didn't have that much to really live off of. I called a friend of mine and I said, I need you to come here so I could tell you something. I did not warn them. And this is not the angel friend. This was a different friend I had to call because they were closer. And I said, this has been happening for the last year and a half, or I honestly, it's been happening since I was 14. I've just dismantled my religion slowly but surely, and the cultural aspect of it, and the questions that I'm not getting to answer, the religious parts of it, and the abuse coupled with it, and the control is enough. I need to leave my car here, and I'm gonna put my keys in the car, and I need you to take me to a friend's house. He took me to the angel friend's house. And so who was a girl, and I obviously was a little more comfortable staying with her. We had been friends for so long. So he said, does this mean that you're not ever going to go home again? And he's like, you don't even want to go home and pack your stuff? I said, since I was young, my dad has told all of us the only way you leave this house is in a wedding dress or a body bag. He even went so far as to buy our citizenship in a foreign country that he felt we had the right to live in. And then because of that, it made it so much harder to travel, but he used that against us. He weaponized it against us and said, you don't think I can kill you and get away with it? I can kill you and stick you in the backyard in America. And if they ever ask where you went, I can say you have citizenship in another country and you're living with your grandparents. They can't do anything. He was very calculated. He knew what he was doing. It was like he's heard it and seen it 1,000 times before. I wasn't going to risk it. I'm like, no, there's nothing in my house worth my life. I could always buy new stuff. This isn't about stuff. And
Wow,
they were wealthy. My parents were
is
wealthy.
disturbing. That
Yeah.
is disturbing. And I think you did the right step at that particular time. No, your story is like, this whole story is disturbing. This whole story has a lot of things in it, and I can see there is a son of Mota in the chat named Blue, who is trying to raise a stupid comment every time you say something. So Blue, Mr. Son of Mota, why would you not come in? Let me challenge you on that, because the link is there. I was not taking any callers right now, but a son of Mota like you, I would interrupt this stream and I would take you in. That's how it is, because you said this is not Islam. If I prove it to you that this is Islam, this is Sharia, what will you do? Will you spit on your so-called God right now, right here? If I prove it to you that everything that she stated is backed up by Sunnah, by Quran, and by the Shara. I'm actually going to fiqh and Shara as well, and I'm going to prove it to you. Each and every statement that she said.
You know, this is just so you know, thank you. You know, Luke is that the one that's on here right now, and just so you know, it's very often it's very hard to have people say stuff like this isn't Islam when I not only like went back every year and stayed for 2 or 3 months in that foreign country and was treated the same way there with every other woman there. It's so strange for you to say, how dare you belittle my experience. You can't belittle every woman's experience. The women that don't say it are the women still living in it because they know what will happen to them. How dare you?
Yeah, so let me tell you what happens. What happens is they are trying to claim, oh, this is your family who's doing that, not Islam. Now, the problem is that this is not their family doing that. This is not your family doing that. This is exactly what Islam is about. And like I have, I can, like, when you were talking, because, I have a lot of discussions on that. I actually did a debate with a Muslim scholar in Indian news channel on honor killing. Honor killing. What you're describing in the very end is about honor killing. Uh, and the Shara says that a father or a grandfather will not be asked in an Islamic country under Islamic law why he killed his granddaughter, grandson, or son or grandson. This is Sharia. This is how it is. A father may not be asked why he killed his son or daughter. And Umar bin al-Khattab's son married a woman, and Umar bin al-Khattab didn't wanted that lady to be his daughter-in-law. So he went to Muhammad and asked Muhammad, "Hey, my son is not divorcing her," and Muhammad asked him to divorce her. This is all in hadiths, and killing is also there. Like, it's and there are so many hadiths as well that it's just there. They are just there. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of hadiths actually says no father is to be killed in retaliation of killing his son, and the Sharia actually acknowledges it. So, these people who come into my live chat and they don't have the guts to come up live,
Do you want to
it's so
want to do some
disgusting.
you want to do something funny? You
Yes.
should advise everyone here if you haven't done this yet, go to if you're like listening here and you're a Muslim and you just think I'm full of crap and that this was one personal experience or this only happens to a few people, I want you to do a Google search. You should Google search, I'm a Muslim girl and I want to run away from my family. I'm a Muslim girl and I think I'm getting abused. I'm a Muslim girl and I don't want to live with my parents anymore. I'm a Muslim girl and I love my family, but if I leave Islam, they're going to disown me and I'm going to have nobody. I want you to Google something along the lines of that and then look up how many thousands of posts you get of women asking for help and then shut your mouth.
Say it again. Say the last word again.
And then shut your mouth.
Thank you so very much. God bless you, sister. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. So now you are out of it, and beautiful. Yeah. Let's take some super chat, and then we're going to change the subject a little.
Oh,
Very important.
could I add
Yes.
one little thing
Yes.
to it to really connect to what Yasmin is saying in a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari 5825. It basically states about a woman's skin beaten till her skin turns green. So it's not a joke. This is what Muhammad taught, and Muhammad approved of it. Muhammad did not condemn the woman. No, he actually condemned her for trying to go back to her old husband and has to have sexual intercourse in order to go back to her old husband, which is crazy.
No, you are talking about husband, not father. I was talking about father.
Oh, oh, sorry.
So very, very different things. She was talking about father, and I was talking about father, and
Oh, sorry.
that's how it is. It's father is also there. This is honor killing. I did a
Yeah.
debate on that. But anyhow, let's take some super chats and then we'll move forward. Shukla ji said, "Good morning. Please have a cup of tea." Thank you so very much, Shukla ji. I will have a cup of tea very soon.
I'm having one right now. So.
Awesome. Raj Seeker said, "Without lies, the cult dies. Way to office while listening." Thank you so very much, and
Amen.
have a nice drive to your office. Appreciate it. And Nomad77 gave us a, oh, thank you so very much. I like 2-3 days ago, I have crossed 50,000 subscribers on this channel, so appreciate it, Mr. Nomad, for your congratulations. Para Oximus says, quiz. Name me the name for a pedophile. Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, or PBUH, whatever you would like to say.
Joseph
Hazari
Smith.
Prasad. Oh yes, he was also a pedophile. That is correct. But we are talking about the well-known person. Joseph Smith is known only in the western part of the world, the eastern
We're
part.
talking
He's a known.
about the one that decides to hold people captive in this life.
Oh,
That's,
exactly.
yeah.
And marry 9-year-olds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Muhammad.
Yeah.
Yeah, pedophile. Hazari Prasad said, hello, good morning. Hello, good morning, sir. Yogi ji gave us a super sticker. Appreciate it, Yogi sahab. And Kaka Singh ji said, Hanji Veer, ki haal hai ji? Main theek haan, sir. God bless you, mate. Veere, main Brisbane तू आ हैं Brisbane यार मैं समझ नहीं आया sorry यार love your work thank you so very much sir love you too my friend appreciate it Yodha Singh ji हमारे member बने appreciate it and Shukla ji said good morning Aram bhai good morning to you my friend appreciate it God bless you all thank you for being here and thank you for supporting this channel and this is a story of a Muslima who left Islam. This is a story of a Muslima who left Islam. So, sister, yes, you want to say
Sorry,
something?
I was gonna say before I continue, to add on to my little test that I gave any Muslim listeners who are Googling all of the posts from Muslim women asking for help, not knowing what to do with themselves. You should also, while you're at it, make sure that it's not one of your sisters posting. Before you sit here and judge me, just make sure it's not one of your own sisters posting, because while you might not think that the abuse that's going on in your house is not that big of a deal, ask yourself if it's not that big of a deal according to the standards of everybody else who isn't a Muslim. If everyone else who's not a Muslim says it's not a big deal, it's probably not abuse. If everyone else says it is, and they're not Muslims, it probably is abuse. I'll go
Very
ahead
well
and
said.
I will go
No,
ahead
no,
and
very well stated. Like, guys, you need to dwell on this. You need to dwell on this. Think about it. And a very important message. Um I would say very important. Yes.
so I was as I had gotten a 17 and I'm sitting there in the car that day, told him there's not much money in my account, but I can get by on it. I have this job, had a little bit of experience. I did not plan on keeping that job because I didn't plan on staying in the area. And he was like, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't think that there is a lot of things that you can do in your culture that you can come back from. And if I'm not mistaken, this is not one of them." And I was like, yeah, this is not something I could probably come back from. That's okay. And I was like, I don't plan on it. And I hope that God just gives me so much strength that I don't, because my dad had put it in my head that the world was so hard to do. It was so hard to live in. It was so expensive to afford. And it's funny because it's not. I mean, now it is, but it's not expensive to afford if you are a modest person living within your means and focusing on your intellect and your education until you can properly provide the means for yourself in excess. Okay, if you're that kind of a person. Personally, for me, having lovely, extravagant things has never been a thing of that I've wanted to keep. I grew up with it. Clearly, I left it because I never cared for it. I cared more for God. So I didn't really have too much, but my goal wasn't wealth. My goal wasn't to go and have this lavish lifestyle, and I thought my parents were holding me back from it. Ironically, that's the narrative they told. That night when I left, They told the narrative that I wanted to live a lavish lifestyle of an American person who went and did drugs and went to clubs and wanted to do this and this. And
Why is it so common? Okay, I'm so sorry, but why is this statement so common for everybody? Like, whether you're whether you're a male or a female, like, if you leave Islam, you are leaving it because you want, lavish life. Why the hell do you always think like that? Not lavish life. I'm sorry. That's like sinful life. It's always associated to sinful life.
yeah, like
Lavish life is not even a.
why is a lavish yes, why is lavish also equated to freedom? Because you can be free and not have a lavish life.
But Muslims have lavish life, but they
Yeah.
are not talking about lavish life. They are talking about sinful life. That's a
Yes.
different thing.
Yeah.
Like doing drugs and all these kind of stuff. This is not lavish life. This is sinful life.
Yeah. It
Then
was so
you say you want to live lavish life, but they add all the sinful attributes to it. And this
yes,
is so
yes.
stupid.
Yes, yes. You said that better than I did. Yeah. They said lavish, but then they added sins onto it. And so it was so strange. And like I didn't have the attributes of someone who sinned. I didn't and don't get me wrong, I was curious just like every other teenage girl growing up in America. And, I'm sure I upset my parents sometimes when they would pick me up from school and I was talking with a boy out in the front yard waiting for them to pick me up. And it's like you don't know what to say. A kid comes up to you, what am I supposed to do? Punch you in the face and say, "Seriously, don't talk to me. My dad's coming to get me." What what do you want me to do? I am not a rude person and you raised me to be scared of men. And so this big 15-year-old boy is coming up to this little 15-year-old me. You think I have the guts to say don't talk to me? You've abused me half my life. I've learned to submit. Am I wrong? Like this was so confusing. It was so confusing, and it's just it just made no sense to me. And so so they equated it with sin. I wanted to go and have boyfriends. I wanted to have sex. I wanted to do drugs. I wanted to, and it's just so funny because I worked my butt off. I was not a hairstylist for very long. And I did pick up that envelope from my job. That envelope my dad stuffed with my social security card, my driver's license, and that very disgusting letter. You want to hear something really interesting about that day when I went to pick up the envelope? That letter wasn't in it. I didn't know that letter existed until 4 years later. My friends who I worked with who knew what was going on, I'm still in contact with them till this day, because when you share an experience like this with people, I'm so sorry, give me just 1 second.
Take your time. And that time is gone, sister. And I can understand that it's always hurts. And there are certain times of your life which, no matter what you do, sh- they never go away.
So sorry.
They always live with you.
It's actually the
Don't be
tears.
sorry. Don't
No,
be sorry here.
the
Do
tears
not
that
be
I
sorry.
have are
Hmm.
grateful tears for those people. And I'm going to tell you why. My tears are actually not for my family and the hurt that they caused that day. It's actually my tears are gratefulness because the beauty that I got to experience the minute that I realized. So my friends took the letter out. They read the letter. They all decided it was important for them to know what it said before I had came and picked it up, because I was a new Christian who had just converted. They didn't mail that. I'm sorry. They didn't mail that letter there until a few weeks after I had been gone. And a few weeks after I had been gone, I had gotten baptized and actually converted to Christianity. And
Amen to that.
I was such a new Christian. My friends who they were also working with me were a part of that church I was part of at the time where I got baptized. They decided it was important for them to help me stay on my walk with God and to not let the enemy back in when I had just escaped it. And they read the letter and collectively decided, line by line, they were all going to read the letter to determine whether or not there is information in the letter I needed to know in order for me to successfully move away or anything like that. And everything in the letter was personal hatred calling me a whore and a slut and just disgusting, deviant things that he hoped would happen to me, uh, done by other people, and how he instructed my brothers to spit on. There was nothing in that letter that would have done any good. So they just hid it. They didn't toss it. And I thank them for that, because I don't think I would have went back, to be honest with you. If I read it, I think it would have just, I don't know. I don't know what it would have done. I was so fragile. I had just left everything and anything I had ever known without any of my things. There wasn't even a scrap of paper that looked familiar from my home. And I was a very a sheltered girl who wasn't allowed out of the house without a chaperone. So being in a foreign place with nothing I ever recognized, even sleeping out, I've never slept outside of my home. I was traumatized. I was trying to understand things around me. Everything scared me. Walking out without someone next to me scared me. There were things I had to relearn how to live. So that I'm so thankful for them that they didn't show it to me. And I thank God every day, because I think of that day I sat in my car and I said to you that day, but when I decided to leave, I said, just protect me. Like, I know I'm not done getting to know you. Just protect me. That's what I asked God. And he did that. And 4 years later, they told me about it. And I said, why didn't you tell me? Like, why? And then they told me that, there was nothing productive in it. And then I put two and two together. When I asked God in the beginning, I'm not done getting to know you, just protect me. He did it immediately. I just didn't know he did it until 4 years later.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Praise God. And so that's why I cry. I cry because it was beautiful. I said, please, like, I'm not done getting to know you. And he said, you're right. You're not done getting to know me. And I'm not going to let him back in until you are. And even when he does come back in, you can't keep out the devil forever. He's going to tempt you. But if you are trying to ward him off consistently, God is going to protect you in that time. And then during that time, you can armor yourself with the word of God. So when that time comes, that day that I saw the letter, do you want to know what my response was when I read it? I
Yes, please.
laughed. I laughed at every sentence. And I was like, oh my God, he was so angry. Oh my goodness. I was like, oh, wow. Oh, I was like, whoa. And then I was kind of making fun of it. I read a line and then I looked at my friends and I said, have I had one drink with you guys in the last 4 years? I still wasn't drinking. I had the opportunity. I just didn't want to. So all of these things that my dad said I was going to become, I didn't even hear, see, or know about it. And I didn't become it. And I laughed at him.
Oh, I was a little different. I did everything that in hatred to Allah. When I left Islam, I did everything. I
Oh, I
drank,
went through that. Yeah.
I ate
That came.
pork. I did almost everything that I
Yeah.
like. You know, I don't want to say, but like, F you, Allah, I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm gonna do everything. That. So yeah, to an extent, I did that. Like, even though I was not able to eat pork, because there's a mental
Oh yeah, I don't
training of
either.
your mind that
I don't either.
that pork is bad since the very beginning
Yeah.
of your age, and it's just so hard to eat to begin with. Like, I was almost puking, but I was eating, and I was like, I gotta eat this thing, full stop. So I was really, really, angry on everything, that why I have been lied to all my life. This is such a lie. So yes, I did almost everything to prove that, Allah, you are wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just sometimes you need to get your anger out.
Can I
And
something?
unlike you,
I think if I saw it, I would have did what you did. But because I didn't see it, I didn't see his letter. I think that I had enough. I think I left with the purpose of I was lied to about God. That's why I didn't lie. I didn't leave with the purpose of I'm tired of, and I was though, if I'm being completely honest, I was so tired of the control, the control aspect, the obsessive behaviors that come with Islam. I was just over it. I was so done with it. But I really just left because I want, if I had gotten to know God and at the end of it, I had found Allah again, can I tell you something? I will say if I had left and I had found Allah again somehow, it wouldn't have been the same Allah that I was raised with. So I still wouldn't have gone back. So it's like no matter what they could have said to me, no matter what they could have did to me, I just knew that you guys are living in this really weird world, and for some reason I don't have a veil over my eyes. I feel like I lost my whole family to this devil, and I was like born in it. And it's like, I don't know if you felt this way, but like, did you ever like at some, like you loved your family, like when you were younger, it felt normal. And then at some point you feel so overwhelmed because everybody doesn't feel or think with their heart. And it's not that you always have to feel or think with your heart, but you have to feel and think with your heart with some logical sense behind it. And they missed the logical sense. So it's just a fiery feud everywhere all the time. And it doesn't make any sense. It's not what it's supposed to be. And they felt foreign to me. And so every time I was there, I felt like you guys are covering yourselves from truth, and that doesn't make you better.
You are so right. You
You
are
can't
so right.
you can't cover yourself from truth and then say I'm better than other people. That doesn't work. And so now I have a whole family, and it's like it's the devil's greatest deceiver. Like it's the I'm sorry, it's the devil's greatest lie. Like I don't care what anyone said. Islam is the biggest lie, the greatest lie that has ever existed in this world, and it is the greatest lie that has ever taken so many people captive and has broken up more families than you know. And it's broken up families in more ways than once. Name me one religion that has broken up families, not only over cultural disputes, but religious disputes, and has forced the family members to separate from one another, except for Scientology, because this is a newer religion. It has just evolved recently, and it's ridiculous. But regardless of the fact that they make people disown other people, the moment that your religion makes you disown people who are trying to get to know God through accuracy and through faith and true devotion, is the moment that you should really stop to think and ask yourself, oh my God, am I damning my whole family to hell? And my dad used to say something stupid to me. I don't know if you might be more knowledgeable about this than me. I don't know. But you tell me. My parents used to say something to me about having three daughters, at least three daughters, who got married successfully and lived, say like a good Muslim woman. Sorry, I was trying to translate what
Then the
they.
father will go to heaven.
Yes, yes. Is
Yeah, it's
that real?
actually two. Yeah, it's actually two. You made it three, but not happily married. It's all about you grow up as a Muslima, and it's a very side hadith. In fact, it's not a very predominant hadith. But at the end of the day, to make her grow up as a proper Muslima, you have to abuse her, seduce her, marry her at a very early age without the consent. This is all Sharia. The virgin silence is her consent, and a father and a grandfather can forcefully marry their daughter or granddaughter, if they are virgins, means very early age, to anybody that they want. They want their daughter to be married. So it's a very controlling free kind of a thing. And this message that I highlighted from some time on screen is very important here, and I want to read it. All ex-Muslims tell almost the same stories about what really goes inside their Islamic house, but slaves of Allah just lie through their teeth trying to make Islam look good. Exactly. Every time you will actually talk to a ex-Muslim, you will hear some kind of similar stories, give or take some verdicts left, right. And then again, when you talk to a Muslim, whether they are from Britain, like the British Muslim is in the backstage already again, who was lying to his teeth last time. He's in backstage with a different name now, and he thinks I won't know him. Uh, who came in multiple names last time, and these people will come in and justify using false argument without any references.
Hmm.
Like, let me prove it to you. Yasmin, give me some time. Let me prove this to you. Let me see if he can reject any of your statement or approve any of your statement. All right, Mr. British, speak up.
Hello.
Speak up, Mr. British.
Hello.
Do you want me to ban you?
No, I'm an
Okay,
abused ex-Muslim.
stop making. You are not an ex-Muslim. You are the same British guy. Can you please speak up in a nice manner, or I'll block you.
Okay. Well, what? Let me share my story.
I'll give you 5 seconds to speak properly, or I'm gonna block you. One,
You guys are a joke.
2, 3, 4, 5. Get lost. So you see, this
He
is
sounded demonic. Do you? It's so funny how these talks bring out the shaitan. Hi, like
yeah,
I
because Allah
love
is the biggest shaitan. I've shown that
it's
many
so
times
like
according to Quran.
watch this, watch this. Hi shaitan. Hi. Are you mad? Sorry. I'm a little provoking sometimes. I love that he didn't win. I love that he didn't get to keep me, and I love that he didn't win. And praise Jesus and praise my God, and Jesus is king and he's the Lord of Lords and King of Kings. And Shaitan, I'm sorry you didn't win, and I'm sorry you still sound so demonic.
Yeah, did you see the laugh in the end?
Yeah,
That I
demonic.
captured him, and in the end he's like, hey, I was like, come on. You
Demonic.
cannot refute a single thing that Yasmin said, even though that there are certain things that you can actually try to say that this is just a Muslim household doing it. It's not Islamic. But let me tell you, everything she said is actually Islamic. If she would have said something which is non-Islamic, I would have stated that right there and then. Hey, Yasmin, this is your house. This is your family saying that. It's not Islamic. But every single thing that she said, even up to killing, like, let me show you. Let me show you. Like, this is very important. Now let's just finish this. In the justice, in the book of justice of Sharia manual of Imam Shafi Rahimahullah alayh, it says there is no retaliation for a father to kill her daughter or granddaughter or son or grandson. There you go. This is book of justice, section 02.0. And the following are not subject to retaliation. Following are not subject to retaliation. What is not subject to retaliation? If a Muslim kills a apostate, right? This is about the ruling of apostate to begin with, like the Murtid, right? A Muslim for killing a non-Muslim, no retaliation. A Jew or Christian subject of Islamic State for killing an apostate. So an apostate can be killed by a Jew or Christian in an Islamic State, and even a Jew and Christian will not be killed because they killed an apostate. Because Jews and Christians are paying jizya, so they are under the protection of the Islamic State. While killing an apostate from Islam is without any consequence. There is no consequence to kill a Jew, apostate. Even Yasmin, as she become a apostate from Islam, a Jew and Christian in an Islamic State can kill her, and they will not be penalized by the Islamic State. But this is not the point. The point goes further. A father or a mother, or their father or their mothers, means father or mother, or grandfathers or grandmothers, for killing their offspring or offspring's offspring, there is no retaliation, full stop. This is Islamic Sharia. This is what they want in Russia. This is what they want in UK. This is what they want in America. This is what they want in Canada. This is what they want in Australia. This is Sharia. This is the Sharia manual of Imam Shafi Rahimahullah alayh. This is called honor killing. You want to see more? Let me show you. Let me show you.
It's just insane. Like
This
I
is Islam.
it's and you know
Madhabul
what's
ulama fi al-qasas min al-walad. according to Islamic madahib of Islam, there are 4 Sunni madahib of Islam: Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Imam Hanbal, Imam Abu Hanifa. 4 Islamic madahibul Islam. Okay, what is the penalty if you kill your walad, means children? Let's try to do Google Translator. Hold on. Google translated. Doctrine of scholars regarding retaliation from the father. Okay, like killing. Let's go. Let's read. Greatest kill believer, वगैरह 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 वगैरह. So the father deliberately kills his daughter. Which one of the greatest taboos? And the scholar differ in opinion. Oh, it's a greatest taboo, yet the scholar differ in opinion. Okay, how does the scholar differ in opinion? According to the Maliki belief, this is the only belief system where it says if he intentionally kill her, he would be punished, not penalized to death, but will be punished. All the rest of the 3 says there is no punishment, not even qasas. So there's a difference between life for a life and life for some money. So Maliki madhab of Islam believes that there should be some qisas, as in blood money, if you kill your daughter or your son. Whereas the rest of the 3 actually believe that there cannot be any qasas as well, even if you intentionally kill your children or grandchildren. And I just showed you the Sharia first. I just showed you the Sharia first, and this is in Islamic websites. This is islamweb.net, where you are asking questions and you're getting the answers. You won't find that in English. It will only be in Arabic. They don't even translate these things in English.
That's crazy. There's so much here that I knew existed, but never knew where to find them. And for you to like show them to me this way, it makes me even angrier, because now that I know that you can find it, because I'm going to be honest, once I left, because I did my research just starting from Muhammad, and that was enough for me. But it does me a lot of good sometimes to see this and to see that it is in writing, because people can't claim that they don't know now. I was young. I used to think people just didn't know like better, or maybe they thought or they interpreted wrong. No, it's clear as day, and you're just choosing to accept it, and you're choosing to cause harm.
Exactly, and Blue will not come, yeah. Blue will not come because Blue claimed to be a girl, and she is not a Muslima girl because that's her channel. That's why I intentionally muted her. This is her channel. This female with lesser clothes, if she is a true believer of Islam, will never have this kind of a picture. And plus, this channel is a very recent channel. It is joined in April 21st, 2024. This is a male person, probably the same male person which is British or the Muslim. These 3 people are the same people barking in the chat. Forget them. Find her, you find Blue again, mute her again. All right, let's go forward. We'll go to Mughni. Mughni is the most earliest Islamic fiqh giver and the hadith giver. It says Al-Mughni. Question. He said, meaning Abu al-Qasim al-Quran, a father shall not be killed for his son, even if he is a minor. And the summary is that the father shall not be killed for his son, and the grandfather shall not be killed, the child of his child, even if his rank is low. Whether this is child of the son or the child of the daughter, like whether the child is son or daughter, doesn't matter. You kill, there's no punishment. Among those who were quoted as saying that the father should not be killed for his son is Umar bin al-Khattab. Umar bin al-Khattab, the best guy of Muhammad, who Muhammad said, after me if there was a prophet, it will be Umar bin al-Khattab. And he also mentioned that in Adab al-Mufrad and Musnad Ahmad 346, and he said, no father is to be killed in retaliation of killing his son. The messenger of Allah says, no father is to be killed in retaliation for his son.
Wow.
Okay, now go back here. I'm going to show you all. So the people who think what she's telling, and I did not rejected her statement, you know me, the people who have been listening to me from the last 4 years, if somebody says something and it is non-Islamic, I would say this is non-Islamic. It is what your family did. You cannot prove it from Islam, and your family is wrong. Right now, everything which she said till the very end of it Is everything proven from Islam? And
Yeah,
I challenge
so
each and every Muslim who is in the live chat supposedly barking,
can I
they
clarify
can join
something
in
really quick?
and I'll prove every statement here. Yes,
Sorry.
Sister Yasmin.
I was just gonna say, let me clarify really quick. I think I know why my parents lied to me about it being 2 and not 3. I'm sorry. They lied to me about the amount of people it probably is for the daughters because they made it the amount of daughters that they had. So I think they were trying to put pressure on us to be perfect daughters. So I'm sorry if I did get it wrong, but I actually
But I
never
cleared
read.
it. No,
Yeah.
I cleared it. Sometimes, like, it's not your fault. I just cleared it what it is. But, like, check this out. Because Prophet, may God bless him and grant me, I don't know why Allah has to grant him peace, because if he's already in peace, why does he need peace? But anyhow, you and your property belongs to your father. So imagine that a son and the daughter is like a property.
Yeah.
What can you do with your property? You can treat it nice, you can treat it badly, doesn't matter. You can destroy your property, it doesn't matter, because it becomes a property. A children are the property of their parents according to Islam. So why wouldn't you kill them if you want to, if you need to? This is the reality. You can't, like, this is Arabic. Anybody wants to read Arabic and say Google translator is incorrect, there you go, let's go back to Arabic. I have no issue showing you Arabic. I have no issue reading Arabic. But most of the people don't read Arabic. That's why I have to give it to you in English. Let me give you a tiny link of that. Let me make a tiny link so that you can have this tiny URL. Okay. Tiny URL. Let me make a tiny URL of this and I'll share it in the live chat. Whoever wants to keep it, just keep it. This is how stupid it is. You cannot deny the existence of this stupidity. There you go. This is the link. Keep it safe with you. The other Sharia manual that I showed you was Reliance of Traveler, and then I gave you Musnad Ahmad 346. That is Musnad Ahmad 346. I'm giving you the link as well for that. And because you and your father, your wealth is belongs to your parent. Let's go and read this as a hadith as well. I'm just giving you a single article which has every hadith in it, but this is the hadith which says, a man came to Prophet and said, Messenger of Allah, I have property and children. My father finish my property. He replied, you and your property belongs to your father. Your children come from the pleasantness of what you earn. So enjoy from earning from your children. So even if a child earns something, the father can take it. Full stop. There's no stopping for it. Your wealth, your life, everything belongs to your father.
Yeah. That's how it
Everything.
felt. And that's how it felt. It felt like I wasn't even my own person. I didn't feel like my own person. I was just a person full of things I was told to do and to say and to think.
So anyhow, that's what it is. And I wanted to answer all the people in the live chat who were like left, right, and talking to this blue guy and Muslim guy and the British guy who had 3 names as well. So there are multiple people who tried to what do you call it, take over the chat in left, right manners.
Mm-hmm.
you know come up if you have guts. Come up. I won't bite you, but I will definitely show you the truth, because I have the truth on my side.
If he bites you, I'll laugh. I can't promise I won't laugh. I'll probably laugh. So just be aware. If he bites, I'll laugh.
Okay. So if I bite, she will laugh. Okay. So remember that. But I won't bite.
So then you have assault, and then you're gonna be humiliated because I'm gonna laugh at you after the assault. So you're gonna have to.
And sister, the second problem with you is, it's not just you are the daughter. You now are an ex-Muslimah. Now, as soon as you become an ex-Muslim, and then you accepted Christ, so now you are a ex-Muslim pagan
Mhm.
who is doing shirk, because according to Islam, you are actually doing shirk if you are a Christian as well. So there are like at least 3 or 4 capital punishments applies on you directly. Like
Mhm.
you went above and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I did, and you know what though? I think my siblings had a hard time letting me go, so they were still trying to convince my dad to not act so harshly, and they resulted to very extreme measures of like having me followed and trying to find me to just forcefully take me back to maybe see if my dad will. They were trying, and my aunts and uncles were trying when they heard, even though my dad had already said, I don't want her back. There was community Muslims who tried, but when a sheikh was brought in, when my dad went and asked for advice, that sheikh went and then told all of the other Muslims, just so you know, if your kids do this, his response is correct. Yours, what you're trying to do, because what happened was one of them tried too aggressively. They stalked me at my workplace, and I had to file a report because I'm like, this isn't okay. They went to extreme works to try to find me. And it was the filing of the report notified my dad. My dad wasn't the one who sent them, so he was upset. Now he has a report against him. There's proof that they went to great lengths to find me, and it looks like he did it. So he's upset because he didn't want me back. And he didn't want me back because the sheikh told him that according to the Quran and the Hadith, that is exactly what he was supposed to do. So then the people who were trying to get me back got corrected and were told to stop because what they were doing was haram, trying to bring me back. Funny, right?
Yes, that is funny. And by
No.
the way, there's a person named Christian in the live chat again, who is the same Muslim guy who just renamed himself as Christian. His account was made on April 15, 2024. Protestant believer, why don't you just send him to Makkah so that he could kiss the black stone and repent before he could come back in? So okay, let me just do that. Hold on. Sometimes I have to do these things. Okay, I'm gonna give you a timeout. Go kiss the black stone and come back after kissing it. So a Muslim came here as a Christian trying to deceive the people. But by the way, Chris, no matter what name you will keep, I know you inside out. I can see through you. You guys are you guys are so easy to catch. I can just see through you guys. All right, let's take some super chats. There are a few super chats, and probably there must be some questions, Yasmeen. If anybody has a question, tag me, and I will take the question as well. Paroximus said, "You forgot to add peace be upon him." No, I would say police, FBI, CIA, and IIS, and everything upon him. I won't just say peace. My pace is better than him. Maria became our YouTube member. Thank you so very much, Maria. And then we have Bital and said, Adam, are there any Christian denominations or churches in the West who are sympathetic to Hindus, cause with whom Hindus can form alliance like with Israel? Yeah, I cannot answer this question because by default, uh, Hindus are siding Muslims in the European part of the world. You need to go and talk with me on my Tuesday stream where Francis will be there, and in reality he is debating Hindus to show them that Israel is a land and they are defending themselves and Hindus are siding Muslims. So if you talk about the European part of the world, I do not know which church will actually side you. But at the end of the day, if you don't talk about Israel and Palestine and go to a church, every church will accept you, acknowledge you, respect you, and will not throw you off. But if you are talking about sympathies, why do you want sympathies? You have questions, you are more than welcome to go to any church. If other than that, I cannot ask you, why do you need sympathies? Like, I don't know why anybody wants sympathies, right? and whatever the majority are doing creates a aura for the whole community, and that's how it is. So whatever majorities are doing, or let me not even use the word majority, let me use the word, whoever has the loudest voice becomes the voice of that particular community. You understand what I'm saying? So if you are supporting Israel, but your voice is so low that nobody can hear it, but the people who are in minority but their voice is loud and everybody can hear it, that loud voice will become the opinion for the whole community in all. And that's the world we live in. If you
Amen.
don't want to accept this reality, you are living under a rock. So if you're living under a rock, that's all good, that's your way of living. But you need to look at the world from the perspective of the world that we have right now.
Amen,
Like,
brother. Beautifully said. That was so beautiful. Amen.
and whoever opposes this view, like I am saying Islam is not peace, and the majority of, not the majority, and I would say minority, but they have the largest voice saying Islam is peace. So
Hmm.
I am the wrongs on the wrong side, even though that I'm right. So even Bital, if you are a Hindu, I don't know whether you are Hindu or not, but let's say you are a Hindu, you haven't mentioned that you are a Hindu or not. Let's assume you are a Hindu. Your voice is too small that the voices, even if they are in minority, it's too loud, and that becomes an opinion making argument for the rest of the world. So we gotta fix that. We gotta raise voices. So raise your voice, raise your voice, shout louder than the other party. We have to do that. Most of us are so caught up in their work, in their family, in making money, feeding their family, that they don't even want to spend that time to raise the voice. And they're like, I have so much to do. I'm so tired right now. I need to spend time with my family. I need to watch TV. What will happen? Your voice will never be heard. So raise your voice. Let the people hear your voice. I'm sorry if hurted you, if my opinion or my statement hurted you, but that's the reality, my friend. Uh, Atul Sharma, thank you so very much. Pink Panther, her story sounds exactly like Safiya's family here in Canada. Look it up, Adam. The father got life imprisonment, son got 25 years, mother got deported. Yeah, I saw that kind of a link in X. Yeah, I'll cover this story sometime. Holy Power said, Wallah Habibi to you as well, brother. Farooq Joel sent us a super sticker, appreciate it. Cat Z said, some MS were talking about 3118. Could you explain? What is MS? Probably
Miss?
Muslims.
Or,
Some
okay, yeah.
miss or some Muslims?
So, Muslims, we're talking about 3118. Could you explain this, please?
So you can actually read it yourself. That's not a difficult one. And do not turn your cheek towards people, and do not talk through the earth extravagantly. Indeed, Allah does not like everyone self-deluded and boastful. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So the problem is you need to read the context of it or the tafsir of it, and then you will know what it is. It came at a certain level, and there is a certain story behind it. For example, now uh, Ibn Kasir takes it from all the way to verse number 16 onward to go to 18. And he will talk about there is a Luqman, so-called Prophet Luqman, who is giving advices, and this is one of the advice. Okay, so don't be boastful and stuff like that. These are one of the advices and all that. So I don't know what you want to know. If there is some context to it, give me the context, and I'll talk about it. Uh, and the blue actually wanted to show his name with a $3 super sticker. I can't return you that super sticker, but thank you. Vignesh Kumar became our YouTube member. Thank you, Vignesh Kumar. Appreciate it. Farooq Joel gave us a super sticker. Thank you so very much. All right, guys, we gotta end this stream. And thank you, Farooq Joel, once again for this $20 super sticker. Appreciate it. Uh, anyone has a question for Sister Yasmeen before we end this stream? Now is the time. And I'll take the question. Please tag me so that I would know that you are asking the question. Otherwise, the chat is kind of running a little faster than I can capture it at this moment. By the way, next Thursday I have another ex-Muslima coming up,
Oh, that's
and
exciting.
she has a huge
You said next Wednesday?
next Thursday. Sorry, my bad. I
Oh,
do it on Thursday. Sorry.
okay, so
So
next
next
Thursday.
Thursday there is another ex-Muslima coming up. She is pretty brave, and she's doing a lot of work on X.
Yeah.
And sorry, you wanna say something?
No, so I was gonna say that I think that women like that, man, they're so brave and so beautiful. I have only recently kind of dabbled with Discord. I have been, I feel like, evangelizing and taking my faith a little more seriously at this point in my life, and have been finding it very hard to evangelize in person with people because our world today has gotten very online. And I actually am a I work with computers now, and I'm you know, educated and specialized, and so all day every day that's all I do. When I come home or when it comes to social media, I'm totally disconnected. I don't have social media. I haven't. I didn't want to put myself in danger. So I have been away from the world of social media as pretty for half the time that I've been away from home. And I have started to dabble more into Discord, and I find that with me, it's not everybody, but at least for me, evangelizing means having those like personal one-on-one conversations with people for that are like in, you know, despair, or that are confused and they feel betrayed by the religion because everything that they've been told or taught has been a lie. And I think that people have their strengths, and for me it's coming on here and sharing. And I think I've been encouraged to, you know, start my own channel and stuff. But man, I think that the Muslim women that do it are so beautiful, but I haven't heard that to be my calling from God. And, you know, I don't know if one day that'll change, but right now that is not my calling, but it is to share. It's
I
not.
hate. Let me say something. Let me
Mhm.
say something. I hate this word. This is not my calling. I just hate this from my guts.
Oh no, it's my calling. It's my calling to do what I'm doing now, like I am doing it with you. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a very hard time as a woman feeling secure about my discernment when it comes to presenting myself over social media, because I know when we have hard conversations like this, tensions run high. And
Oh yes, they should.
and
They
yeah,
always do. They always
and
do.
and for me, I worked really hard in my life because I didn't come from nothing, but when I ran away, I had nothing. And now, since I've worked so hard, I've got myself through school, and I have a great job, and I've worked so hard in my career to have as much respect as I do. I don't want my two worlds intermingling with each other. And I would hate for my representation, if I got heated or something, affect my
Yeah.
life outside.
So
And
take your time. Let me just say that. Take your time. Think about it, because yes, you're absolutely right. When you come on social media, you'll be threatened. You'll be abused. You will be called different kind of names, and you will be persecuted in so many ways that you can't even imagine.
mhm,
You have gone through a lot.
yeah,
I know that, as you have told me. Yes, take your time. And I would say, whenever you're ready, you are not going to do evangelism. You are actually going to do apologetics. The way you described it, you use the word evangelizing, but
yeah,
the things that you described is apologetics.
yeah,
So you will be doing apologetics and probably polemics as well. I
yeah,
mostly do polemics, hardly do apologetics, but at the end of the day, this is necessary. And whenever you're ready, don't think
mhm,
of it that it is it is implied that you have to do it. Okay.
mhm,
But I personally believe that anyone who left this cult should tell the world why we left this cult, because we are persecuted beings. As
Yeah.
soon as we leave, we are persecuted. While we are leaving it, we are persecuted. When we leave, we are persecuted. There is a sword on our head every day. So
Yeah.
we have to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you for coming up here and
Yeah.
talking about this. But and let me give you courage with this lady. This is the lady that will come
Mm-hmm.
next Thursday,
Okay.
God willing, if she promised me that she'll be here. Islam laisa deen al salam.
Mm-hmm.
Islam is not the deen of peace. Change my mind. That's her questioning.
Yeah.
And she's doing a lot that I don't want to expose right now,
Okay.
that I don't want to show.
Okay.
But if anybody wants to go to her Twitter channel, they can watch her, see what she's doing. But you know, she'll be here next Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll do some discussion with her on this. That's her Twitter channel.
Mm-hmm.
You can go and check that out to everyone.
Yeah.
And
Can
with
I ask
that being
you?
said, I had one question over here.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Let's take the question first, and then I wanted to ask you a personal question, but we'll take the question first.
All right. Adam Seeker, who Hazrat Aisha इतनी कमाल की थी, वो कौन नहीं आती है आपकी स्ट्रीम में, बताइए ना. Come on, Umar. Don't be sarcastic. Don't be sarcastic. I thought you have a legit question. Like, come on, man.
What did you
We are
say?
talking about a very, very important subject. There's a lady who's I don't know whether she's actually left Islam or not, but you know, there's a lady named Aisha. Vijay said, Adam, I think India will be the first country to make law to protect ex-Muslims and recognize them as a community. What do you say? Yeah, a lot of people are working on that, and Indian ex-Muslim community is increasing day by day. And I agree with you.
I'm gonna
There's a
move there.
very fair chance that they will actually do that, and they'll become one of the first country to do that. I hope this will come sooner than later. Yes, Sister Yasmin.
That would make me want to move there.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. All right, we have Shuklaji here. Shuklaji, do you have a question?
मैं बैक से थोड़ा बात करना चाहता हूँ मेरे भाई.
All right, I'm putting you backstage now. All right, Paroximus, before leaving, he said, thank you for bringing Arya. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Ara, right? A-R-A, Ara. Um, she'll be an inspiration for a lot. Yes, she will be. I spoke with her today, and because today we had a session with Yasmeen, so
Mhm.
we're going to have a solo session with her next Thursday. All right, guys, with that being said,
Oh, I had a
yes,
personal
sister, you had
question.
a question. Sorry, my bad. My
Yes,
bad.
that's okay. So I guess my personal question to you is, do you, and I'm not coming on to you. This is just me making a little bit of small talk before I ask the question. Do you have a family?
Yes, I do. And the problem is that I cannot disclose a lot
No.
of stuff about my family. I'm just
Yeah.
giving you some things before you continue.
Mhm.
Um, I do not disclose a lot of stuff about my family because I am doing a lot of things on YouTube,
Right.
and the intimate kind of personal questions creates a huge issue,
Right.
and they will going to everything we say on YouTube about our personal life becomes a breadcrumbs.
Yes, I
So
agree. So
so while
actually,
you're hmm,
no personal. That's the extent of the question, right? So I was actually just going to ask you, um, from your own personal belief within your own dynamic in your family, right? So let's not talk about any. We're just going to say, hypothetically speaking, you have a wife, okay? We are not going to even say if you really have one. I don't know you. I don't know if you do. Hypothetically speaking, within Christianity, I and this kind of ties back to like the it's not that I don't have courage, but I also want to be careful. I feel like as a woman, because here's the thing, I know that as a woman in Islam I was very tied down, and I know that people can weaponize certain verses in the Bible that paint God out to be this man that doesn't like women as bad as much as he does men, and those that scripture is weaponized and it's not in context. But what I will say is there is a real fight right now, I feel like, against women in general in this world with the with social media being what it is. And there is this kind of like, I just feel like like radical feminism, and it's hard for me to stay within the confines of my own faith if I am, at least for me, my discernment, if I am constantly exposed to this like radical sense of feminism when I'm constantly trying to stay within the boundaries of what my God considers soft and feminine and and intellect and maturity and conducting myself as a lady. And I kind of feel like that has been what has been lost on the internet lately. And I think I just wanted to emphasize that it's not fear. Fear is never going to set me back. It's the fear of not representing God as a woman the way that God wants me to. Because everything that has happened to me, the last thing that I want is to go on this radical extremism spree where I am just speaking with too much anger. It's not good for my mind, my body, or my soul. And to be honest with you, like you're very well spoken and very well read. And even sitting and listening to you talk, I learn things. And being silent and listening to someone speak and not talk over them, it's you have to train yourself to do that, and you have to train yourself in the spirit, and you have to train yourself with God before you can expose yourself as a leader for other people. So I just wanted to say, if there is any Muslims in here for a second that think that I am scared to lead a bunch of other Muslims out of that death cult, you're wrong. I am just going to make sure when my time comes, I am going to be the best example for all the Muslim women out there right now so they can look at me and go, she left Islam and she isn't what everyone says we turn into when we leave Islam. That is what I want. I want them to look at me and know that they can leave without having to feel like they have to abandon every sense of their own morality. Not everything they learned about morality is negative. They don't have to feel like they have to run away and escape their entire identity. But they do need to know that their identity needs to be changed, and that's scary. That's scary for a Muslim woman who has been abused time and time again, and I don't wish that experience upon anybody. And so when I say I think it is my calling to evangelize, I also think it is my calling to rescue as well and to pull people from that. But I'm just going to do that in a way that represents the way that God brought me through what I went through, because it's not going to be worth anything if I get ahead of myself.
So I think this was not a question.
No, but my question to you was, in your personal perspective, right? For a woman right now, when you speak to other ones, when you're talking to them and they're ex-Muslim, can I ask, do you feel like you get this, do you feel like you that not all of the women that you speak to who have left are well versed in what they should know, but they're trying to leave what they used to know?
Ah, that's a loaded question in itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, so the whole idea is, let me tell you, all five fingers are not equal, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot, and I'm not talking about women in general. I'm talking about women and men, like all of us, right? In general, leaving Islam, sometimes something will hit you, right? It will be something will just simply hit you. It will hit you so hard that you'll be like, that that cannot be from God. For example, I was last year I was talking with a lady, a Muslima from Pakistan, and she was a doctor, right? A professor doctor, and she came in to defend Islam. And after an hour of different back and forth conversation, I think Sahil was with me, and he said, "Do you know that according to Islam, you just said that you are a PhD professor. Do you know that according to Islam, you are half brained?" you're less in intelligence than any man.
Yeah,
And it's in the hadith of Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari.
it is. It is.
and
Yeah.
and and your witness is half of a man. You can't even do the same kind of witness that a man can do.
Hmm.
I have shown her the Quran, chapter number 23, where it talks about the semen, and there's no egg, and the child is being born from the blood,
Hmm.
dead blood, and all that. It didn't hit her. I showed her so many other things, and 45 minutes of a discussion, and she was defending everything. She was defending Aisha being 9, and still Muhammad being 53, being married to her, and doesn't matter. Like, nothing was going in her.
Hmm.
Nothing was going in her. And suddenly this hit her so bad, it just like kind of crushed her. And she said she's gonna do research. That's not possible. That's not possible. I'm always first in my class, and this and that. And how can this is not from God? This is not real. This is not true.
Hmm.
5 days later, in the next stream, she came up and she said, I left Islam. This is stupidity.
Hmm.
I don't care. And this is stupidity. This is not from God. So what I'm saying is simple. Sometimes it just takes one single thing for a person to say this is not from God, this cannot be from God. And sometimes it just takes a long study before
Hmm.
you leave Islam. So not everyone is equal. So I have female Muslimah girls working in India in YouTube channels.
Hmm.
And then I have a lot of girls who left Islam. It does not matter. So you can know something and you can know a lot. It just what hits you. If one of the aspect is wrong, it cannot be from God. If even one aspect is wrong, it cannot be from God.
Hmm.
So this is the whole idea. So calling it like Muslimas, yes, there's so many. There's so many.
Yeah, but I have a cousin, and she left 2 3 years after me, but she left and with a lot of anger, and wanting to seek truth, and so she dismantled her truth, right? But after she dismantled her truth, there was nothing to keep her on track up for learning truth. Okay, and I think that this is where the ex-Muslimah gets lost. So I'm going to tell you, my cousin, she doesn't believe in God, and it kills me. She's been ex-Muslimah for as long 2 years lesser, I guess, than me, um because she left 2 years after me, but she's still an ex-Muslimah, but now she completely doesn't believe in God. I can't get through to her. There's states between us, and I tried talking to her, but anyways, we're not talking about her right now. But do you see what I'm saying? There is she left, dismantled her truth, which was Islam, decided it's not real, and then diverted and decided no God for me, no thank you. And that is even the bigger lie of Islam, is that it doesn't just keep people captive after you get out of it. If you don't try to find your way out of it with God, I feel like you'll get lost. So I guess when I asked you the question, I said, do you feel like sometimes when you talk to ex-Muslims that are
Sometimes you have to give them space.
oh, okay, got it. So
So
yeah.
if you're pushing like this, you are doing the same thing which Dawa gangists do. I
Mhm.
would not do such thing.
So
Sometimes
what's
you just
what's
have
my
to give
best
them
approach? Like with space,
nothing.
like
Give
how
them
long?
space for now.
Yeah, how long do
Give
I?
them space. Like, it does not matter. Like, you are constantly pushing, so now you are trying to do exactly what the Muslims are doing, and hence what's happening is there is a wall that is emerging in front of them. Hey, this is the same thing. So give
Well,
them space. Let them
yeah,
find their own truth, and sometimes it takes a lot of time.
I guess I
Sometimes it will
I
take a year,
will.
sometimes it will take 5 to 10 years. But let them find their own truth. You are actually doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah, I actually just found out. She didn't tell me that she didn't believe in God for a while. I just found out, and my initial response was to not give her what my parents did to me.
Yeah, and number one, number
Yeah.
two, you are probably not fit to do this. And number three,
Yes.
give them some space and let's see.
Yes.
Let them read, learn,
Yeah.
and understand. By the way, I have a testimony in which I accepted Christ because of an atheist. But that's a separate story for another day.
But yeah, you
But
see, there's
anyhow,
you yourself, you just said it. I'm not fit to do it. And so that was what I was trying to get at, is that the average Muslimah that leaves, they need more. A woman who is leaving Islam, she needs more than probably a man leaving Islam does. And it's because we're really, really behind on understanding what we're doing when we're dismantling our faith. We don't think much of what we're doing when we're dismantling it, but men, I will say, men have this ability to understand that they're dismantling and building at the same time. And I'm not educated in that manner. I'm still learning. That's why. So, yes, you're right. I am not fit at this time. And so when I hear from God, when one day when that time comes, and it'll, who knows, it might be years for me in the future, but I don't want to do to her what my parents did to me. So like, khalas, like she told me she doesn't believe in God, and I didn't push it because I was like, I really hope that that can change for you in the future. But if you are okay right now, that's all I care about, is that you're happy and you're safe and you're okay. And so that was my response to her.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
the right
don't,
response. That's the
okay.
right response. Be a nice human being with her, and be a nice Christian with her, and that's it. And let the water flow. The
Okay.
truth will prevail eventually. We have a probably another customer who wants to talk with us. I don't
Okay.
know. Daniel, are you a Muslim or a Christian or an atheist?
Hi, brother. I'm a brother in Christ of you. Um, I
Welcome,
have
brother.
some.
Peace of Christ be with you. Yes.
Thank you very much. I do some evangelical works on social media also. Um, One thing I noticed that we Christians do not highlight the preliminary expansion of Islam, which was brutal, which was decimated the cultures of Middle East, Persia, North Africa, Spain, but we do not discuss about this history, and that's why Muslims uh, think that that part of history is the glorious part of their history. The conquering other land, conquering other cultures is a glorious things to do. It's very much, we think, I think we should notice, and we should discuss about that it is not a glorious things of the history of Islam, but it is a shameful,
Have
disgraceful
you watched my channel?
act.
Have you watched my Urdu channel, Daniel?
Yes.
There are a lot of videos on that. A lot. If you look at the videos of jihad and expansion of Islam, there are a lot of them. So I
I
don't know
think
which
I
channel,
think
I don't know which channels are you watching, but there are a lot of them. But at the end of the day, I cannot just talk about history. I have to connect the history with the Islamic scriptures. So I do it mostly on the root of the subject rather than a branch of the subject. And you are talking about a branch, yes. And I have a lot of videos on that because I showed them what the root says and how the branches emerged. But my personal way of working is attack the root of the problem, which is the Quran, Hadith, and the stem of the problem, which is the Sharia and fiqh. So mostly I work on that. Very seldom I go on the branches, and this is the branches expanded through that. So you have to prove that it comes from the core of the Islam, and that's what I do when I go into the expansion of Islam and the jihad and how it worked, all worked. So I've done that many times. So
if you
whoever
see
is not
that.
doing it, you have to go and ask with the to the people who are not doing it. So I don't know why you are saying
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Thank you. I think other Christian apologists should be focus on it, and they should Muslims
Daniel, why
should,
should somebody do what you think is right? Let me ask you this.
because Muslims thinks that history is
Again,
their
that's not the
glorious
question.
glorious
That's
part.
not the question.
Yeah,
That's not the question. Why should people do their work according to what you think is right?
I think it's necessary to
Again, you
understand
said I think.
Muslims.
Again, you said I think. My friend, this is the problem with a lot of us, right? We think what we are doing is the best way of doing things, and I always say no. Everyone is different, and I already said that not five fingers are equal. Not everyone will hear the things from your perspective. What you think is not always true. What I think is not always true, right? Some people will not comprehend what I'm saying, but they will comprehend and understand what somebody else is saying, and they will not leave Islam because of me. They leave Islam because of somebody else, because of his angle or her angle. Same is the case. You want to do this angle, I support you, but don't ask everyone else to do the same. That's what I'm saying. Don't think your way is always the right way. Let everyone do the way they are doing in their best abilities, because not everyone thinks like you do. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yes, yes, right, right. You are. If you are doing a right thing, or I am doing a right thing, it will ultimately it will everyone will understand that our path is right, our thinking is right. Yes, your logic
What
is
makes you think that our thinking is right? That's exactly what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm saying? You didn't even understand what I just said. I just told you that what you think is right might be right for you, might not be the right way for somebody else. We need to allow some flexibility in everything. You said you're a Christian, brother. The Bible says that you are free in Christ. He has given you freedom to do a lot of things in the Bible. You get some freedom when you are in Christ, right?
right, right, right,
Right. And that freedom
right,
has a lot of freedom. So even it says that nobody should judge another brother which celebration he celebrates, even if it is a new moon celebration or something like that. Is that in Colossians? No.
right.
Right. So now you are seeing, even for celebrations you have a very extended way of, and then you said nobody should judge anybody, full stop. And then it says eat whatever you want to eat. But then you have all the way to chapter number 28, which says, okay, don't eat a strangled animal, right? A strangled to death animal, don't eat that. The rest you can eat. So you have a lot of freedom in eating, in talking, in different kind of celebrations and all of that. Please allow everyone to have this flexibility, and don't ask everyone to do the way you want to do something. Your truth is not always the truth. Make sense?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Brother, one more thing I want to address, that Christian missionaries are evangelical works in second or third world countries, but in Western countries, Islam is expanding, or they are somewhat dominant. Dominant. They are showing their dominance there. If the West is conquered by Islam or Muslims, then what will happen to other parts of the world? Uh, Whole world will be collapsed. Will be collapsed. So I
And then
think,
comes the 7 years of tribulations.
right, right. That
Then comes the 7 years of
so
tribulation. So yes, it will.
so
It is. It Yeah. So I don't know where you are going. So can you please concise your question, sir?
I'm just putting my concerns about the Western expansion of Islam, and the governments are doing nothing to do to prevent this, or the Christian community is doing nothing. But the Christians are persecuted in Africa, in Asia, Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh, or also in every corner of the earth. But the UN or the human rights organizations are silent about this. But their voice is up when the Rohingya Muslims are in concern, or their voice show their voice in Gaza incident,
Daniel.
that everywhere Muslims, higher Muslims involved. The the UN or Western countries are very much passionate about them. But in Christians, higher Christians and Hindus are persecuted in Muslim countries, and they are brutally persecuted. They are brutally murdering. Their human rights is so much violated. But Western countries and human rights organizations are silent about it, totally silent. It's very much heartbreaking for us. What do we say about it? What should we do? What steps would need to be done?
Okay. Exactly what we are doing right now. You should do it. Show it to the world. Expose it. And you are already doing it. What else can you do? There is like, you want to do the same and start crying that you are being persecuted like Muslims when you are not persecuted. So the whole idea is you have to expose the truth and expose the lies. So you have to do the both. Expose the lies and the truth. So you are already doing that. So what else can you do is something that is beyond me right now, and this is what you should do, and you're already doing that according to you. So keep doing it and have a great time, brother.
Okay, thank you, brother. I'll be very much glad if you if I have contact of your email, or so that I can share
It's in a
many
scroll.
things
It's in
with
a
you.
scroll. It's in the scroll.
Thank you, thank
You can see there.
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a nice time. Let's end the stream.
Thank you
Yasmeen,
for having me.
your last words. You were our host, so give your last
Yeah.
words and then we'll end the stream.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And just so you know, I think you gained a fan from me in general. So I'll be tuning in. And I am going to pray for the guest that you're going to have on, who is another ex Muslimah. I'm going to continue praying for any other ex Muslimas that you have on here. And I will try to keep track of them and keep them in my prayers. And just thank you for having me. And I hope that if anyone's listening, if there's even one Muslimah there that needed some type of hope or some sort of word of encouragement, I hope I did something for you. I don't know if I did, but if I did, I hope it gives you a little bit of encouragement. Have faith in God, the true God, Jesus, and He will get you through it. Find your way, do everything that you can to try to find a way to get to know the true God. That's all I can pretty much leave you with.
Thank you so very much, sister, and have a blessed day, evening, or
You
night,
too.
wherever you are. Thank you guys for listening and watching and being here. God bless you all. Please share the stream. And before we go, Yeshua Akbarul Azim. God bless.